All right, we are back with Hot Zombie Summer. We're talking Resident Evil 4, Part 1, and I can already hear that sweet, sensual Spanish guitar playing in my head.
I can hear it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
iconic. Sticks with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Puts you in the
used
puts you in the place.
it's used pretty sparingly in the game, right?
Yeah, I really just think of it as that kind of beginning where it's place hitting you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah. Classic.
yeah. Yeah, it's a very iconic intro, but yeah, we are here to talk about Resident Evil 4. This is a very important game in the Resident Evil franchise and a very important game for me. It is my favorite Resident Evil game. We've kind of touched on it that you prefer remake for your favorite.
Yeah, and I love the original Resident Evil 4, but I'm gonna say it's not even close, to be honest.
Okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think replaying everything, that gulf has just grown larger. But
Yeah.
I love this game, and I think a really influential game in the history of console video games too.
Yes, yeah. Console video games, horror games, shooters, third-person shooters. Yeah, very, very influential game, very important game. So I'm very excited to talk about it. Uh I feel like well, let's kind of jump into before we get into development, maybe just a little more personal experience of the game. So
Sure.
it came out in 2005. I feel like I was a good age for this when it came out. I was 16.
Yep, same.
So the idea of playing as Leon Kennedy and shooting a bunch of zombies and being a real cool action hero guy appealed to me. And I think that's one of the reasons of the fandom why it's so beloved by people of a certain generation, like millennials, really seem to like this game, and the
Yeah.
younger folks they kind of not shit on it, but they're a little sort of talk about it's the unk dick riding of Resident Evil 4. You'll see kind of references of that sometimes, and it's like, all right, well, you guys went there in 2005. You know what it was like to play RE5 in the GameCube / PS2 when it was first coming out.
Are you saying that people think it's like it's cheesy?
Not cheesy, but just like if you started playing Resident Evil with like Resident Evil 7 or 8 or the remakes, like going back to 4, it's gonna feel
Sure.
very primitive.
Sure. Yeah.
Whereas for us, when we were playing it, this was like, oh, this is like the great leap forward that
Oh yeah.
third-person action
Yeah.
games needed. It was just felt so modern, and it's kind of a trip to go back and play this right after. Like I played it pretty much right after I played Requiem,
Yeah.
and there was a little bit of a learning curve even for me as much as I played this, just being like, okay, this is how you play this type of game.
Right.
It's yeah,
Right.
a game from 20 years ago, so you have to kind of recalibrate yourself a little bit.
Yeah. I think it holds up really well. I think it mostly holds up well control wise, but it is a little wonky just to get
There's
back
some
into
jank.
it.
Yeah, there's some jank.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little funky.
Yeah.
Especially since I think the control mechanics in the kind of more recent Resident Evil games like Village and Requiem, I think, and 4 Remake, I think are really fine-tuned and tight. And this is like not quite that. But of course, right? I'm comparing games that are not even in the same decade.
Yeah. Yeah, they were like kind of in the same way that Resident Evil 1 sort of invented a genre. They were really like not inventing a genre, but really perfecting it with this game, I feel like. But yeah, it was a long time coming. So to jump in kind of development and history on this game, it was kind of conceived and started development in 1999, and then didn't come out till 2005. So we had
Yeah.
almost 6 years worth of development and multiple restarts. It was part of that sort of milieu that we've talked about a lot about after Resident Evil 2 came out, where Capcom was just like, let's make as much Resident Evil as possible. So this was always kind of meant to be the next real big one, the next big leap forward. So they right away started developing it for the PlayStation 2 and went through several different iterations before we got what we had was kind of like almost action movie set piece based Resident Evil 4. There was some more horror based ones and some more exploration based concepts before that as well.
Yeah. And I think that this is the kind of last Resident Evil that truly to me feels kind of enmeshed in console politics in the way that it had been at the time with the GameCube. Because if correct me if I'm wrong, but 5 went multi-system release, right? They kind of started doing away with exclusivity at that point.
Yeah, there really hasn't been much exclusivity since then. at least
No.
for the main games. But yeah, this was when it was released and what was kind of being built up. It was part of that Capcom and Nintendo partnership, the infamous slash famous Capcom 5 video games for the GameCube that came out. This was one of them. It was the most successful of them, and
Right.
yeah, it was always kind of a weird fan of the GameCube, but yeah, well, we can talk about more of that as we go on. But it eventually was ported to every platform under the sun.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just to kind of flesh out some of the console politics here, which we've talked about in previous episodes, but as we talked about with Remake and Resident Evil Zero, both of those titles underperformed. I think most people point to the GameCube as the kind of factor there. The image of that console being more family or kid friendly, while I think Capcom, this is from the Alex Aniel book, Itchy Tasty, notes that, Capcom's other more adult leaning fare, Devil May Cry and Onimusha, was really selling well on PS2. Apparently, Resident Evil Outbreak, which was released in 2003, outsold the remake in Resident Evil Zero. So they were like, the problem isn't Resident Evil, the problem is the console.
Yeah.
And so, that's, I think, something that came up with the development of four, but also I think likely played a role in the kind of non-exclusivity of the franchise moving forward.
Yeah, and obviously a smaller install base with the GameCube. So kind of the idea is they'd help each other. Capcom would provide games that encourage people to buy the GameCube, and then with that less competitive sort of environment, the GameCube, more people that have the GameCube would buy the Capcom games, including Resident Evil 4. And that really didn't work out for anyone. It seemed
No,
like
it
it didn't
really
really
didn't.
sell a ton more games, and we talked about it when we did our Resident Evil remake wrap up, but even relative to other GameCube games, those Resident Evil games didn't sell particularly well compared to like
No.
Code Veronica on the Dreamcast or yeah, the Resident Evil games for the PS1. So it was kind of I can't fault him. I never want to like blame people or say it was a dumb idea to try new things or take a risk, but in retrospect, 2020 hindsight, it was yeah, probably a bad idea for all parties involved.
Yeah, it seems
Yeah.
like
At
kind of
least business
like,
wise.
yeah, I mean, as an analogy, it kind of seems like something that it's like a relationship between two people that you're like, on paper, this makes a lot of sense. And you're like, but actually, it just didn't work.
Yeah.
It just fizzled for both
Yeah.
sides. And it's like,
Yeah. And you had
okay.
way more chemistry with her sister.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, so the PS2 is the
Wait, what
sister?
are we talking about? And yeah, like we mentioned, the kind of original concept dates back to 1999 and very, very different from the game we got. The original concept was developed by Hideki Kamiya, and he was tapped to be the director. And Mikami just told him, make the game you want. Don't worry about making it a horror game. Just make what you want. So he's like, okay. And he maybe took that a little too literally because he
Yeah,
made what would become Devil May Cry.
yeah.
So if you imagine Devil May Cry is a RE game, there is no Leon Kennedy. There's a character named Tony.
Hmm,
He was, what would become Dante, like a superhuman, virus infected, kind of superhero type guy. And it was very action heavy. Still had some of the trappings with like the gothic sort of aesthetic and vibes and everything, but very, very different gameplay. And then eventually it was basically deemed to be like, okay, this is too big of a departure. So
right.
they, the good thing was they were able to spin it off to Devil May Cry, which was a series that's kind of fallen by the wayside, but it had a pretty good run. Not
Yeah.
the games, but they were, they definitely had their fans. They're pretty well received and well regarded for that
So
PS2, PS3 time period.
So I've never played any Devil May Cry games. And so I feel like when you were like, it's fallen by the wayside, I was like, wait, really? But then I'm like, I'm probably the least qualified person to respond to that because I've never played it.
Yeah, the I just think about it in terms of like the popularity of the games that are released. I mean, DMC was the last one I remember people talking about, which was kind of a reboot, and that was 2013. So that
Oh,
was quite a
wow.
while ago.
Wow, that was 13 years ago. They rebooted it 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm sure they've
gosh.
had games since then.
Yeah. Well, and Dante's been in like Marvel versus Capcom games, but I think the last Marvel versus Capcom game was like 8 years ago now. So
Yeah.
I don't
No,
know. I guess
he's a cool character. Yeah, I guess Devil May Cry came out in 2019. So, but still, that's, nothing since then. That's 7 years ago by now.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I feel like the kind of Devil May Cry RE4 development is a little confusing, right? Because I think uh Kamiya was originally working on right his vision for 4, but originally that was supposed to be RE3. And then one point there was a Resident Evil 1.9 in development, and that later became 3. And so then they were like, Kamiya, your game is now 4. And so everything got bumped.
Yeah, pretty much everything got bumped because this was basically supposed to be initially like, okay, this is the next big game after two.
Right.
But
Right.
then yeah, in various ways, three colon Nemesis and code colon Veronica came in the middle there, also as mainline entries. So yeah, this got bumped back to be Resident Evil 4
Yeah.
eventually.
I do appreciate you explicitly calling out the colon there.
Code Veronica always trips me up because I always think it's Resident Evil colon Code Veronica,
But
but it's
it's
Resident Evil code
colon,
colon Veronica is how
code,
it's stylized.
code
So
colon. Yeah.
yeah, code
Yeah.
colon.
Code
Uh,
colon.
yeah. But
Yeah.
so that was the first kind of misstep, but everybody's still happy. We're like, hey, we still got a game of it, no
Yep.
problem.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
sure everything will go well after this. Just one little setback and no problems, smooth sailing from here on out. How about we make a game involving a ship and a hookman and hallucinations? That sounds easy, right?
Right. They're like,
Yeah.
we already kind of missed the mark on this last one. So let's miss the mark again.
Yeah.
But let's miss the mark with friends because RE4 was part of the quote unquote Capcom 5, which is just like a wild name for a series of games you're going to release. That, right? Mikami had this commitment to the GameCube. The date is November 14th, 2002. There's an announcement. There will be 5 Capcom exclusive games to the GameCube. So, really interesting move to me financially to double down on the relationship with the GameCube after Remake and Zero sold so poorly.
It was interesting, and this was also a time when sort of like the like a tour theory of games was becoming a thing almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we had like Kojima as like the Metal Gear Solid guy, and he was doing so it's sort of similar where the director in a game would be analogous to a director of like a film.
Right.
Yeah, so part of the Capcom 5 was also like building up these Rockstar Capcom developers, and they were at this press conference and dressed up in leather jackets and sunglasses and try to look cool, and yeah, they kind of just look like you know your dads, your uncles when you look
Yeah.
back at it.
They
It's
look like noids.
yeah, a little bit. So
Yeah. And maybe you saw the note, maybe not, but can you name the Capcom 5 off the top of your head?
the video games. So
Yeah.
there's Beautiful Joe,
Hmm.
there's PN03,
Hmm.
there's Killer 7,
Hmm.
and there's Dead Phoenix, which never came out.
Oh, it never came out.
Yeah, Dead Phoenix never came out.
That's
Yeah,
it's kind of ironic, right? They were like,
there was a game called Dead, and
yeah, they're just
it never
like,
lived.
oh
Yeah,
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 true to its name, I guess. Yeah.
yeah.
Although Phoenix, I guess that name doesn't make sense because the Phoenix like rises.
I mean, they can die, but
Yeah, but then you
they,
rise.
yeah, it's a
Yeah, seems
little,
kind of
hmm,
repetitive, like Dead Phoenix,
right. Yeah, it would be like,
or has it risen once that died again?
it'd be like resurrected Jesus
Yeah,
because it's like, well, we know what he's gonna do,
yeah, right now. So yeah.
live in all of us.
Hmm.
Yeah. Um, I think that it's interesting. These games that you mentioned, I don't think are particularly beloved of the Capcom 5. Like, I don't think at all, really.
Piano 3, I never heard anyone say anything nice about.
No.
Killer 7, people like it. It has that cult following. That's
Yeah, P
Suda
51.
51.
People like Suda, but like it
I've
feels really
tried
niche.
his stuff and I can't do it.
No, I
Yeah.
I tried as well, like with No More Heroes later on, and it's not my bag.
Yeah. Yeah. There is one. Oh God, what was it? No More Heroes? There's another one he did that I tried. Deadly Premonition. And
Hmm.
I really wanted to like it and I just couldn't do it.
Hmm.
There's
Yeah.
just yeah, I don't know. It's just too janky, too yeah, just not I don't know.
Yeah. I think Beautiful Joe probably has fared the best, but like I think they made a few games and I think people like them. And then, it's kind of like a non-derogatory 7 out of 10, right? It's kind of like,
Yeah,
okay, like,
yeah,
that
I
was
agree with
fun.
that. Yeah. Yeah, I
You know,
had Beautiful Joe for the GameCube and I enjoyed it. I wasn't crazy about it. I know some people really liked it, but it's even 2004, like it was almost a retro throwback to like the 90s beat 'em up. So it was always
yeah,
gonna be a limited sort of mainstream appeal to it. But
right, right. I mean, the last Beautiful Joe game that came out was on the DS, and that was 21 years ago.
yeah, there was only a couple of those. So
Yeah.
yeah, so
What do you think the over under is on people with Beautiful Joe tattoos? You think over or under 1,000?
um hmm. This is so hard because there's so many people in the world.
That's yeah, yeah.
So it's like I can definitely imagine like someone has a beautiful Joe tattoo. Absolutely, 100%.
Definitely one person at
Yeah.
least.
100 people? Probably. I'd say yes.
Probably like maybe the development team.
Well, that's the thing. You're just talking about like everybody. A
Right.
thousand, I take the under. I think there's less than 1,000 people with beautiful Joe tattoos.
Ah, man. I don't
But
know. I think now I'm convinced that there are more because you're like, there's so many people. There's like 6 billion people.
yeah, so even if 0.011, yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the Capcom 5, right? I mean, I think
yeah,
as Anil points out, right, this was really Mikami demonstrating commitment to and solidarity with Nintendo. Uh, and for whatever reason, he wanted to follow through on that big time.
yep, yeah, yep. Uh, so yeah, we kind of alluded to some different versions of it, but yeah, there was many different concepts. There's a castle concept where Leon was sort of in this gothic kind of castle, and there was even like a second character involved that was a female character that would have
Hmm.
like a BOW dog with her as a protector.
What?
Yeah, well, that was the haunted ground game.
Oh,
That's what that
okay.
became. Yeah,
Okay. I was like, what? That's wild.
yeah. So there's sort of yeah, another Capcom game that came out of it, but it was much less successful than Devil May Cry. So it's a cool. It looks like a cool game. I've watched some YouTube videos on it. I've never played it. They didn't make very many of them, so it's one of those games where if you want to buy an official copy, it's like hundreds and hundreds of dollars on eBay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not the most successful game in the world, but yeah, I kind of kept that Gothic castle sort of environment. There was
And
also a oh, go ahead.
oh yeah, I was just gonna say, was this the build that had the airship type object suspended by chains? Like that was in some of the early stuff as well.
Yeah, they were really experimenting with ships because there was the airship. There's also like another version. These all kind of overlap too, so it's kind of sometimes difficult to talk about like when one build ends and
Right.
when another begins. But yeah, there is versions that had airships. There's another version that just had like a cruise ship. Hunk was involved for a while,
Oh, geez.
which
Okay.
I'm glad we yeah don't have Hunk besides the bonus games.
Yeah. Thank
But
God.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think that one thing I noticed that is interesting, and this was in, I believe, the 82nd teaser that was released for Resident Evil 4 as part of the Capcom 5 announcement, but there was a phrase that appeared on screen that says the cradle of the progenitor virus, and that appears on screen. And so that's interesting to me because that was not a plot point in 4, but it comes back in 5.
yeah,
Yeah.
but just kind of like teasing that you're gonna get to the origin of the T virus, the origin of Umbrella.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, and then the last version that we got teases for was a very like psychological horror type of vibe to it. It was involving Leon going through this sort of otherworldly supernatural area, very like Silent Hill inspired.
Right.
And it had a what killed this version was they had a concept for hallucinations
Yeah.
where they would basically have like two versions of the entire game. They'd have the normal version and that version where Leon was sort of hallucinating. And then they really couldn't they couldn't implement that on the GameCube. There just wasn't enough storage space. They didn't have a big enough budget, so that was abandoned after only a couple months of development.
Right. And this
Yeah.
is interesting to me, a little bit of the kind of behind the scenes stuff. So Yasuhisa Kawamura wrote the script for three, and he wanted the game to be scary and kind of psychologically driven, like you said. So he apparently looked to like Jacob's Ladder and Silent
Hmm.
Hill as inspiration. So that's like we're already in like really different territory. Because like Resident Evil, I think plays with fear, but it doesn't play with psychology too much.
No, it doesn't. I'm glad they went a different direction. I love Silent Hill. I think those games are really good, but I like that Resident Evil does its own thing and Silent Hill does its own thing. I don't think the
Right.
Resident Evil needs to delve too big into the unreliable narrator, sort of hallucination, psychological horror.
No, I don't think
What
so.
what's happening, what's real, what's not real. I think Resident Evil is better as a you take some sort of every man, every woman, somebody the player can relate to, and you put them in this crazy environment, and they just have to survive. I think that's kind of what Resident Evil is to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it sounds like some of the stuff, that I was reading about the hallucination build of the game, like there was a scene with a taxidermied moose that screams and little dolls with blades sticking out of their arms and, the aforementioned hooked man. So like all of that just it sounds weird to me, but you can see threads of how those ideas maybe made their way into later games. Like I'm thinking of Village and House Beneviento. Like that
Yeah.
sounds more in line with that kind of like, what is happening? Is this actually happening or not? Um, I thought this was a really quick aside that I guess right, so this was May 2003 at E3 when this build was demoed and there was a teaser and Mikami introduced the game in an interview. He's like, I haven't been fired because I guess Piano 3 underperformed. And he's like, the game is going to be very scary. And he says, don't pee your pants. And I guess Alex Aniel said this line became very iconic among gamers.
Not among the gamers in my house.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think I've ever heard people like, don't pee your pants,
Yeah,
like
that's
quote Mikami.
yeah. Maybe in
Um,
Japan that was taking the
perhaps,
playgrounds by storm. Yeah, I don't know. Everyone
perhaps.
study hall was saying "Don't pee your pants" to their friends.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm like, how often do I say that? Probably not very often. I don't think I say that very often. Do you?
No, I don't. Doesn't come up that often, honestly. I'm rarely in situations where someone's going to pee their pants. And if they did, I don't think they'd, have that much. Like it's kind of a last resort.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you don't see people doing like the pee pee dance.
Not too often. And by then it's probably too late for a lot of people.
It's
Well, I'm just
too
saying, if you're
late.
gonna, yeah, if somebody's like, "Oh, I'm gonna pee my pants," you're like, "Don't do it." Like, they're not gonna be like, "Oh, okay, I was going to, but that's good advice. I won't."
Well,
But
they're usually just waiting for a bathroom, right? I mean, they're not just like sitting there like nothing's, oh no, I'm doomed. Who knows? Who knows
yeah,
what
I don't
goes on
know.
in the
I
minds
don't know
of,
what.
I
I
mean,
guess
this,
I haven't been around people that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen them pee their pants before. That wasn't like a baby. I don't think so. Maybe I have. I don't know.
if I had one question for Makami, like if I had a magic genie lamp and I could make Makami, so one wish would be used to make Makami appear. And then I can ask him one question. I'll be like, why did you say this? And he would probably be like, well, because I saw somebody do a pee pee dance once and I knew all hope was lost.
Mm,
That's what I think. Anyway,
yeah,
this is quite took a turn for the urinary, huh?
yeah. So
Yeah. Anyway.
anyway,
Um,
he advised us that good advice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So this build, the hallucination build, is now called referred to in the fandom as 3.5, RE 3.5, has never been playable to the public. And
No.
I have a question for you about this. Maybe this is a bad idea, but like in some ways, like, wouldn't it be kind of cool if Capcom just like if they just polished the build and they like made like, look, it's like an hour or whatever and released it? Like, wouldn't that be kind of cool?
It'd be interesting. I don't think they'll do it.
No, I don't think so
Yeah.
either. But
Like
like,
from a game history, game
yeah,
preservation standpoint, it'd be very cool if they did do that, or even just like made the build public and let people, play with it and polish it they wanted to. Like that'd be awesome, but yeah, they're not gonna do it. So,
no,
yeah.
they're not. But even if like, and I mean, even if they like released, an hour of it to play and charge $20 for it, I bet it would sell like hotcakes.
Oh, really?
I
Hmm.
think so. I
That's
think
interesting.
people, yeah. I'm not saying that they should do that. I don't think they should monetize it, but you know, I think it's just interesting to think through. There's all this rich history, and it's just like, man, that's nuts that it's just never been playable.
Yeah, that is interesting because yeah, now I'm thinking I feel like they wouldn't. I mean, they're not gonna do it because companies are very protective of their IP, so they're not gonna put out something that, like, if they thought this was worthy of being a Resident Evil game, they would have made it be a Resident Evil game
Sure.
already.
Yeah.
So I think it's one of those things that just, yeah, it's just kind of locked away. Yeah,
Yeah. Maybe
and
the
a lot of the ideas probably got recycled into either later RE games or like we talked about later games in the later Capcom games. So
That's true. Yeah.
yeah,
I think maybe the closest comparison I can think of is Star Fox 2.
that was cool that Nintendo did that, but Star Fox
Yeah,
2 was like fully done.
that's true.
So there
Yeah.
wasn't like it wasn't a lot of work to release it. They just never released it because at that time they were moving away from the Super Nintendo. So they were like,
Right.
like, just for consistency standpoint to marketing, where, it's just too late to release this. So, but
Right.
yeah, it wasn't like a problem with the game itself. But
Right. Right.
yeah. Although I never played Star Fox 2. Did you play Star Fox 2?
I played it for like 5 minutes on the Nintendo Switch Online,
The Switch Online?
and then I was like, I don't like this, and I
Yeah.
literally gave it like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Sometimes I think I want to play retro games, and then I play them, and I'm like, I actually don't want to be doing this. I'm like,
Yeah,
ugh,
you have to be in the right headspace. So
yeah,
yeah, and it definitely helps if it's a game or a series or a genre that you have some fondness for.
yeah. And I think the
That
on
can help a
rails
lot.
shooter is not it for me.
No, same here. So, but
Yeah, yeah,
yep.
yeah. I mean, I
Eventually, Mikami took everything back over. He was like, "I'm just gonna do it myself."
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
the scene from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 in the post-credit stinger when Thanos is like grabs the Infinity Gauntlet, and he's like, I guess I gotta do everything myself. Pretty
Yeah,
much, you know.
it was like
Yeah,
that.
pretty much like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I feel like, I read that the writer and the director at the time, um, Shibata, were like ultimately okay with him taking over, but that feels like a pretty drastic change.
Yeah, and some of this is going to be Japanese business culture too, where, if your boss tells you to do something, even if you grumble out to your friends at the bar, publicly, you're going to be like, yeah, he's right, of course.
Right,
So
right.
that's very hierarchical sort of,
Hmm.
business and social culture. They have kind of said, I think it was Kiramura said that he did feel like kind of ashamed
Yes. Yeah.
that he basically had the project taken away from him, even though he acknowledges that, yeah, Resident Evil 4, I mean, it was all for the best ultimately, but yeah, he felt like he let Mikami down and let his coworkers down
Yeah.
by not being able to make the game work. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Makes sense.
yeah, so it was going at this point they're looking for a full model change is the phrase that was flowing around Capcom.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're
Very
gonna
interesting.
de-emphasize the story and just focus on gameplay, making the game itself, the moment-to-moment gameplay, very, very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
is different than Resident Evil's. Like, Yeah, we kind of talked about the closest to that to this point was probably like Resident Evil 3 was a little more fast-paced, but other than that,
Yeah.
it's more much it had been to this point much more of a game about like atmosphere
Hmm.
and yeah, horror aspects versus the moment-to-moment gameplay being, super thrilling or challenging or fast-paced or
Right. And
like that.
it's kind of really interesting to me to think about like up to this point. So Resident Evil, by the time of the game's release in 2005, even though we're not there yet, I'm jumping ahead a little. By the time of that game's release, like the series had been around for, 9 years,
Yeah.
but the gameplay was pretty much all the same. It was a pre-rendered environment, it was tank controls, it was survive. So they didn't really muck with the formula that much until this one.
Yeah, this was the first one that was, yeah, like really a new type of game that had some of the trappings of the series and the characters of the series, but yeah, it was very, very, very new in terms of gameplay, which is cool because that's kind of rare that video game series is able to totally reinvent itself like that.
Yeah, I can't think of many examples that where they do that. Like even Mario to me, it's like a move to 3D, but it's still the same kind of thing.
Yeah, you're still kind of yeah, you're at an actual extra dimension, but you're still doing, it's still a platformer.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, your basic verbs are still the same, but yeah. Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
I'm trying to think about I mean there's somewhere it's true, like I'm thinking like Grand Theft Auto, but that's almost such a like the first two Grand Theft Autos are not like huge hits. They were just kind of cult favorites,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
Grand Theft Auto 3 just kind of took the world by storm. So
yeah,
that was a big leap, but that's almost not the same thing just because the first two weren't as popular as what would
yeah.
become. So
I do think that's a good comparison because I think that they are very different
yeah.
games. And yeah, like I think there's probably a reason that they didn't remake the first two because it
Yeah.
wasn't yet what people liked about it,
Yeah.
you know. So, but yeah, we are in January 2004. The new build of the game was unveiled at Gamers Day in Las Vegas,
Gamers Day.
and Game Informer broke the story.
Yeah. I'm curious about what Gamers Day is. That seems weird.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm looking at my
yeah.
calendar on the wall here. I'm turning back to January 28th, 2026, and it does not say Gamers Day. So this was a short-lived
Mm,
holiday.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Gamer Americans would no longer have their own day. Um, but yeah, this was kind of the first unveiling of what we now know as Resident Evil 4. So it had the rural European setting, the village and the villagers. It had the over-the-shoulder view with
yeah,
the laser point and the gun, so it's gonna be much more combat and action focused.
right,
Yeah.
right. And, there was some mixed reactions. Some people were like, this doesn't look like Resident Evil. And some people were really pumped about the new direction. And I think that's an interesting kind of thing to point because I think a lot of the games have had that reaction, right? People are like, oh, this doesn't look like Resident Evil, right? Six, too
Yeah.
actiony, doesn't look like Resident Evil. Seven, first person, doesn't look like Resident Evil, right? So I think we see this a lot over time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because yeah, it's kind of the fans are always I sympathize with the creators because fans are always like, on one hand, like, oh, this is old, we want something new, give us something new, but then something new happens. They're like, oh, this isn't like the old thing, so I don't want it.
Right, right,
Kind of,
exactly.
yeah. And
Yeah,
there's not necessarily the same people, obviously, in the fan base, but it can be tough to balance that and figure out like, okay, what do people actually want? Do they actually want like how
right.
big of a leap do they want to the next thing? So, but at least in this game, the kind of proof is in how popular it was and how acclaimed
Yeah,
it was and how well it did ultimately. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Um, yeah. So, I mean, this game, the kind of eventual build that would become Resident Evil 4, unveiled in January 2004. And then the rest of the year, the game was kind of shown off at game shows or playable builds. I think the reveal of Ada being involved in the game helped assuage concerns that it would be too different. Because I think in the promotion of the game, I think it was made clear that Umbrella was out of the picture. So I think people were like, "Oh, is this going to have any connection besides
Yeah,
Leon?"
besides Neon, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I think it's also interesting that the game's release date was announced in August for the following year in January. So it was not a ton of lead time to actually advertise it. Because I think the previous builds, it was always just 20XX. And so
Hmm.
people were like, I have no idea. Like what, or 2,200X, really.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah.
it'll come out sometime this decade.
Right, right.
So
So people were
yeah.
like, ah, I don't know.
Yeah. That's like how games are announced now. They're like, yeah, Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls 6, it exists.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's I every once in a while I'll read an article about games that are just in development limbo, and it's wild that some of these games were announced like 16 years ago.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
yeah,
like
GTA 6. I mean, was
yeah,
GTA 5 like 2013, so that's been more than a
yeah,
decade. But
Beyond Good and Evil 2, which is probably
yeah,
never going to come out. You know,
yeah.
um,
Sometimes it works out. Like, did you ever play Last Guardian?
no, is that by the studio that did Eco and Shadow of the Colossus?
Yep, yeah, yeah, exactly. I'm blanking on the guy's name. He's another kind of like auteur guy.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was another one where that was like a PS3 game and then eventually came out, more than a decade after that. But was really good. I don't
okay,
know. So
okay,
sometimes it's worth the wait.
yeah, yeah.
But sometimes
Um,
you get Duke Nukem for everything. So
yeah,
yeah.
that I never played any Duke Nukem games, but I heard that Forever was quite bad, like technically.
Yeah, I think that was the big thing, was it, David? Didn't like work properly. So but
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh-uh.
Yeah. Um Ueda. Fumita
Okay.
Ueda is
Okay.
the eco guy that I was thinking of, eco last
Yeah.
guardian guy.
Yeah.
It's on the tip of my tongue, so I had to look it up. But
Yeah. Okay.
eventually, after all this, the game was finally released for the GameCube in January of 2005, and it was well received. I mean, very, very well received
Hmm.
critically, and again, successful in relation to the GameCube.
Yeah.
But
Good for GameCube.
good, yeah, but not as successful as they hoped. It sold better than Remake and Zero, but it was still not selling enough where it was going to be considered a success to the point that they would honor their GameCube exclusivity.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Which
but it was.
Mikami was not happy about.
Yeah, so it was pretty quickly. I mean, later that year, it was ported to the PS2 with a bunch of extra modes too.
Yeah.
And Mikami, he had previously promised that RE4 would remain GameCube exclusive, and he went as far as to say he would commit suicide if it was
Yes.
ported to another system. That's been translated as he would cut his head off.
Yeah.
The original quote from what I read was more similar to, he's saying he was going to commit like
Seppuku.
seppuku,
Yeah.
like ritualistic suicide of shame if it would be ported to another system. But it was ported to another system and he didn't do that. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. I
yeah,
mean, I found this statistic to
which is
be
good. It would have been sad if he killed himself over
yeah, it's like I
the
mean
port
it's like
of
this
GameCube.
exclusive,
Yeah,
it's like it's really fine, you know.
yeah. I mean,
Um
Evil Within wasn't great, but I'm glad we have it. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I find this statistic bonkers that 240,000 copies of the PS2 version sold in the first week, and that was in contrast to 220,000 copies sold on GameCube in the first 11 months.
Yeah, yeah. So it's
So,
very clearly just and that's even with, obviously people that had both systems and would have bought the PS2 but had already played in the GameCube. So yeah, it was very quickly the PS2 version outsold the GameCube version. So it's
right,
yeah, hard to say it wasn't a good move for Capcom and probably games overall for this to be brought to the PlayStation 2. So
right. And if
yeah.
we're
And it
thinking
has some
about
extras too.
yeah, it does. Separate Ways, right? Was an extra.
Yep, yeah. So it had the PS2 version. It did have slightly condensed audio and less sharp visuals, so it didn't look quite as good. But they did a really nice job with it. I mean, if you're just playing it, unless you're looking at them side by side, you're not gonna notice that the PS2 version's worse than the GameCube version. Because I played both like in real time as they came out, and
Yeah.
I yeah, it didn't occur to me the PS2 version was any worse technically than the GameCube version. When you're
Right.
just playing along and going through it. And then you got some extra stuff too. So you got Aya's report, which gives you some more context for the story, and then the PS2 version also included separate ways, which is almost like a DLC type of extra story content, like another mini sequel almost.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I think just as a development note, so Mikami was not involved in the PS2 port. Masachika Kawada comes on board, he produces the port, and then in part due to the success, he becomes a kind of key producing slash administrative figure in the series
Yeah,
after that.
yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, and Mikami, he was Capcom later on this decade, so he was kind of seemed to be not a particularly happy split from Capcom. Just
Yeah,
yeah, it seemed like he was maybe the official that I remember seeing was he wanted to go back to being more involved in the development of games versus
right,
the managerial oversight role. But yeah, it seems like it wasn't a good fit for him or for Capcom to have the role that he was because
right,
this brilliant guy, but yeah, just you look back at just like misstep after misstep from a dollars and cents type of standpoint. So if
right.
you're running a business, I can see being like, yeah, sorry, Mikami, you gotta,
Right. Yeah.
this isn't working.
See you
Yeah.
later. Which, it's interesting because I mean, he directed some really all-time games, Resident Evil. I'll just say Dino Crisis, even though I don't think that's like a great game. The remake 4, he did, Piano 3, Project Number 3, and then like his post Resident Evil 4 output, at least from a direction standpoint, not really anything to write home about, I don't
Evil
think.
Within 2, I thought was good. Evil Within was me. It was okay.
I
It
just
was
like
way overhyped.
yeah, I tried to get into the Evil Within series and I just couldn't. And I don't really know why. It just felt really generic to me.
Yeah. I think if
Um,
you flip-flop those games and there was no Evil Within and it was just Evil Within 2, I think people have been fonder of it. So, but that
okay,
was a much more interesting game, like as especially in terms of like systems and gameplay, and a little bit more in the stealth that was becoming more popular then. And yeah,
sure.
whereas yeah, Evil Within it was just kind of a series of confusing set pieces and confusing um cutscenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, apparently Mikami did not direct Evil Within 2.
Oh, well, never mind then.
Yeah,
So
you're like the
proving
second
your
one was
point,
way
yeah,
better, and it's like maybe it's because he didn't.
because he was involved. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, Evil Within 2. I mean, I guess he produced it, but Evil Within 2 was now 9 years ago. So you know,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't want to make it sound like I just expect this person to just produce things for my edification slash enjoyment,
You're
but
just
yeah.
waiting for him to commit ritualistic suicide.
Yeah, pretty
Sorry.
much.
Uh,
Um, yeah. So yeah, this is a long and complicated, development.
oh, he was the executive producer of Ghostwire Tokyo. That was a game.
What that means,
I don't know. Was that good?
I
That's
don't
just
know
the only that
anything
I
about
was like, oh, a game I've heard of. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So
that. I heard good things about Hi-Fi Rush, which he, I guess, executive produced too.
yeah, so he's a great executive producer. Good job to you.
Good job. Good job,
Yeah,
Mikami. Yeah.
but
Uh,
honestly, if you make Resident Evil 4, your your spot in the video game Hall of Fame is sewed up at that point. Sewed up at
I
that
think
point.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
So
have you have at least between the original, the remake, and 4, you have like three bona fide,
yeah,
like,
you're in like the top tier of
yeah.
video
Yeah.
game directors of all time. So
Is this like a Terrence Malick situation? It's just like, yeah, you made some good stuff.
Shinji Mikami's Tree of Life.
Yeah, and then it's like afterward, then people were like, I don't really care.
Oh, like literally Terrence Malick.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. I don't care about Terrence Malick actually, so I don't know why I said that.
I haven't watched anyways. I think Tree of Life was the last one I watched. I feel like it was
Oh yeah.
just then. I'm just
We
like,
watched that together in the theater. I fell asleep.
we did watch that in the theater. Yeah, I remember you. I remember you fell asleep when you woke up and were very confused.
Well, because there were dinosaurs. I was like, what the
Yeah,
fuck?
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, yeah, you thought you like slept all the way through the movie and a new movie started. And you're like, how long have I been out for? But uh anyway, so
Yeah.
the yeah, so that was kind of development everything. Just a couple more random asides. There was the RE4 chainsaw controller for the
I
game. You
remember that.
remember that? That was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
It was. It was yellow.
It was yellow and it was yeah, it was a GameCube controller shaped like a chainsaw, just like it sounds. The rare collectible that probably would have been a good investment to buy it was available because
Yep.
I was looking at these on eBay and their, cheapest one I could find was into the four figures. So
Oh
it's
my
yeah,
gosh.
it's going to cost you a couple grand for a bona fide Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller.
How do you play it with like the chainsaw blade sticking out? Like it seems like kind of inconvenient.
Yeah, I mean it's like a mini chainsaw. So
Yeah, I mean I
yeah,
I know it's not like
if you
holding a
saw it, it'd be
chainsaw.
more like a pruner is what it looks like.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, doesn't look too unwieldy, but it is mostly a novelty. I don't think anyone's like it's hard to imagine somebody being like, I'm gonna buy the RE4 chainsaw controller and then just play like Mario Kart with it.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like you have friends over and you're like, Jimmy, you have to use the chainsaw controller. It's like, fuck, that's not fair.
I guess I just never would have thought in my wildest dreams that, I remember seeing it as a kid and I was like, this looks clunky as hell. I don't want that. And then later on, it's like, it's a four-figure controller.
Yeah, it's amazing what hits and what doesn't. Because then,
Hmm.
yeah, versus like the rock band guitars where infamously you like couldn't give those away.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Like if you took them to GameStop, I was like, we just take these. You're like, no, throw away yourself. So
Yeah.
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 But yeah, that was the kind of element of the game. And then it came out, everybody was like, hell yeah. And one of the reasons they were like, hell yeah, is because we got a bunch of new and returning characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think this is, I feel comfortable saying this, but I think, I mean, up to this point in the series, best cast of characters by far.
I think so too. And it's kind of funny because Mikami was like, oh, let's de-emphasize the story.
Right.
And with him doing that, I think the story is like the best Resident Evil story that we've had in a while. It's like I think
Yeah.
it blows away, Zero and Code Veronica and even like three, it's really it's
Right.
just straightforward, which I enjoy. I
Right.
think
I
the
think,
series D of this needed a clean slate and just back to good versus evil.
yeah, I think so too. I think maybe the only story that comes close is two. I think two has some
Two is good.
movement
Yeah.
and it has like some fun stuff with Ada and some fun stuff with Sherry and some very unfun stuff with Irons. But like to me, Veronica and three are very inert. Zero's very inert. Like not a lot happens.
Like not a lot actually happens, but there's a lot of just like fluff and extra stuff going
Hmm.
on. There's like the multiple different enemies of Umbrella, and there's double agents. There's this guy's working for that guy, and this guy's doing. And it's just the Birkin and Wesker collaborating together, and they're bad guys, but they're against Umbrella, but they're also against the Stars. And this one just kind of goes back to basic, and
Yeah.
just Leon's good, and the cultists are bad, and he needs to rescue the president's daughter.
Yeah. It's a very straightforward kind of
Yeah.
approach, which serves the game well.
Yes. Yeah. I think it
Um,
works really well.
and I also think it just reveals slash, it's a choice they made, but like so much of that stuff in some of the older games was just like not of consequence. Like it didn't really matter. Like the stuff with the Ashfords didn't matter. The
No.
stuff, with the Mercs or UMBS or that acronym we can never remember, like it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you have a rich cast of characters. So I just kind of wrote these down in I tried to kind of like order of appearance, although I think I messed it up already.
yeah,
Um,
that's okay.
yeah. So order of when I thought about them, the first person I thought about was Ingrid Hunnigan.
On again.
Hunnigan. Yeah. She's like your assistant, your sort of
Like maybe
eye in the
handler?
sky. you know? Hmm?
Like a handler?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But she assists you.
Yeah, but
Assist in that she assists you, not that she like works
right.
for you.
Right. I was like, it makes it sound like she's at a desk, but she might be actually at a desk. We don't know where she is.
I picture her at like a mobile command center of some sort.
Hmm. That
Yeah.
that just
With
makes
like a
me
satellite uplink.
okay. That just
Yeah.
made me think of like a like little mall kiosk that sells phones.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's not
Um
like at a at a coffee shop, I don't think.
yeah, she's like, "Can I work from home and do this?"
What's the Wi-Fi passwords?
Yeah. Why I guess Wi-Fi existed then, right? Did it? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But if you're running like a anti-terror, anti-BAW terror, you probably weren't doing it over Wi-Fi. You'd
No, you
probably
got to do Ethernet. You got to be plugged
Yeah,
in.
you're plugged in. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That was
Yeah.
another episode of
Yeah.
Hot Zombie
I like
Summer.
Hunt
We'll be
again.
back in a
I
few
like it too.
weeks. She's
Yeah.
she's
In the
fun.
meantime, check
She's
us
got
out on
got some
Apple,
spunk.
Spotify, or wherever else you
Yeah.
get your
And
podcasts.
the
And be sure to follow us
attractive,
on Instagram and Blue
nerdy
Sky at
girl
Hot
is sort
Zombie
of
Summer
her
Pod, all one word. So
archetype
until next
character
time,
type.
don't be a Jill
Yeah.
sandwich. She's competent.
Competent. Yep. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah. And her and Leon, they have a friendly relationship. Leon
Yeah.
flirts with her a little bit towards the end, and Hunnigan kind of shuts him down, but in like a friendly, bantery sort of way. So
Yeah.
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 And we mostly interact with her over the kind of radio system mechanic, which feels very Metal Gear Solid-y, right? Two characters appear on a screen and they're having a conversation through radio.
Yeah, yeah. So you see both their faces and they are chatting up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and importantly, Leon has not met her before this mission.
No, she introduces them herself to him and
Yeah.
then sends you a playing manual. So which
Yeah. In the world of the game, do you think Leon was like, what's the C stick?
yeah, that's kind of fun when I kind of like that about games when they would make the playing manual like part of the game.
Hmm.
Like I
Hmm.
thought it was kind of fun. I mean, it's silly, but it's like. Yeah. Like it was it I think it was Link's Awakening kind of played with that where you'd walk like as Link, you'd walk up to like a little kid in the village and they'd be like,
Yeah.
press A to interact with stuff. I don't know, I just said that. What does that mean? It's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
funny. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's charming.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
self-aware.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Sort of
Yeah.
acknowledging the medium that they're working in. So
Yeah.
but yeah, so she's with you. She's on the team. Two other people on the team that don't do as well are the two police officers that you interact with at the beginning.
Right. They're taking
Yeah.
Leon to the village. As you note, Mario Fernandez Castano is a senior officer who is not named until the remake.
Yes, yeah. In this version that we're playing, he's just the bearded cop.
Right.
But yeah, he is a yeah, he's you're there, you're driving in, you're with two Spanish cops. They're taking you off to investigate this cult. There's an older one and a younger one, and they're kind of portrayed as sort of not thrilled to be there. Like they don't really seems like they drew the short of the stick in this assignment.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't blame them because it doesn't work out well for them.
No, it
Yeah,
really doesn't.
they very quickly get killed. The older
Yeah.
one makes you pull over so you can go pee. Probably has large prostate given his age. And he gets scared. He's like, oh, so cold all of a sudden. Like he's, feeling weird about this village. And then yeah, eventually they get kidnapped by the cultists. He gets burned at the stake and killed.
Yep. Wait, you think canonically he has an enlarged prostate, or you're just saying you're like older men have enlarged prostates?
That's my explanation for why he had to pee.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
think he was probably like, I'm
You think
gonna
he was
pee.
nervous?
I think he was like, I'm gonna pee my pants.
Yeah, maybe he was the guy
So
that Mikami was talking to. He
he's
took his
like, don't
advice.
pee your pants. And he's
Yeah.
like, okay, but Mikami
Yeah.
kind of got him killed.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe he would have better off just staying in the car.
Yeah, it's like
Staying
stay in
his
the
thing.
car and pee your pants,
Yeah.
or don't do that and get killed. So,
Yeah.
um,
Younger cop
the
also.
yeah, you said his name is Smoke?
No, he offers Leon a smoke.
Oh, I was like, I don't think his name is Smoke.
Yeah, that's the only thing I remember about. That's he doesn't really have much going on. He smokes. He offers Leon
Yeah,
smoke, and Leon kind of waves him off.
Right, right. And he gets fed to Del Lago.
Yeah, you see him later getting fed to a monster. So yeah, they
Yeah.
kidnap and kill both these police officers, the cultists, the
Which
Ganados.
is really I think just like unnecessary. Like they were just gonna leave. Like, right?
Oh, I don't know. I think they were supposed to be there for like Leon's backup.
Oh,
He
really? I
tells
thought
them,
they
well, he tells them, I'm calling you guys.
Yeah, I guess I just seemed like something Leon would say. I guess I thought that they just were taking him to the village.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I think the idea was also if stuff went down, they could help. But yeah,
Yeah.
but they didn't know when. Well, we'll get to it when they get the characters. Yeah, they weren't expecting to be running into a Ganado zombie army. So
No, 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 no.
yeah,
We've got Ashley Graham, the first daughter. She is the daughter of the President of the United States, who we actually meet in Resident Evil 6, more concertedly, I believe.
I think that's a different president. That
Shit.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, we
All
do meet
right.
the president in six, but it's not the same president.
Okay.
It's not President Graham.
It's not
Yeah,
President Graham.
yeah.
No, Ashley Graham is a college student. She's in her early 20s. Um, as you note in our shared doc of notes, doesn't seem like she's dressed for the weather, right? She's wearing a sleeveless sweater vest, I guess, for lack of
Yeah.
a better term. It's just a top that has no sleeves. Looks kind of sweater-like into a skirt, which seems, um, yeah, not super practical. But then again, I don't know when she was abducted and kidnapped either.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what time of year this is, but I mean, it's kind of implied that she was kidnapped from her college.
Right.
Yeah, so it'd have to be probably fall or spring. Yeah,
Probably. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah,
Um,
she's the way she's dressed is very dated. I feel like even 2004 is kind of dated. Like she's kind of got
yeah.
like Teen Idol, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera type vibes with a kind of schoolgirl outfit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying. I was like, she's not dressed like a pop star, but yeah, it is kind of schoolgirly.
Yeah, and she's supposed to be like a college student, so I don't know. So I feel like she's dressed a little, like the outfit's a little young, but they spruce her up with the remake and make her look update her look a little bit.
Yeah.
Although interestingly, the initial design was closer to what we see in the remake, where she had like a jacket and long pants on.
Yeah. Yeah. I did not know that she was voiced by Carolyn Lawrence, aka the voice of Sandy Cheeks in SpongeBob.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know that either. But yeah,
Hmm.
she's
Yeah.
voiced by like a famous voice actor who does a really
Yeah.
nice job.
Which is interesting because I actually think the voice acting for that character is not great.
You don't think so for Ashley?
No, because I think they just play into like kind of shrill young woman who's like, help, Leon. Like I feel like they kind of just repeat that a lot.
Yeah.
They don't give her a lot uh
I guess I'll
in that
thread the
sense.
needle and say that for what they're going for, I think that Carolyn does a really nice job.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, we can. Yeah, I understand if you want Ashley to be a little more self-actualizing, which I don't know. I think she kind of does as time goes on. She kind of gains
Kinda.
confidence as the game goes on, but
Kinda. I mean, her role here is to be the damsel in distress, and I do think that they do a little bit more with her than that.
yeah,
A
yeah,
little bit, but not a lot.
yeah,
So, but yes, we rescue Ashley and spend actually a good chunk of the game with her.
yeah. So a lot of
Um,
the game either with her or looking for her.
right, like
Yeah.
20 times. Like, how many times does she get
Yeah, it's well,
abducted?
yeah, take a shot every time Ashley gets separated from Leon or kidnapped.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
yeah, and then she'll call you a pervert if you accidentally slash on purpose try to look up her skirt. So
yep, yep.
yeah,
I did not try to do that on purpose, and I didn't actually know that was a thing. I was like trying to aim up because there were Ganado up there, and then she was like, "Don't." She was like, "Whatever she says." Yeah, I got called a
yeah, she kind of
pervert.
holds her skirt against, and yeah, it's kind of yeah, it's 2005.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, so that's Ashley Graham. I like that the president's just President Graham. We never know
We
his.
don't.
There's
Yeah,
no first name.
yeah,
He's just the capital P president, and he's very like just a generic president that you'd see in
Yeah.
like a sci-fi movie or a political thriller.
Yeah,
He's like
yeah.
a Harrison Ford type, a Bill Paxton, Bill Pullman type. Bill Paxton was in Independence Day, right?
Bill
I get
Pullman.
Bill Pullman. I get my Paxtons and Pullmans mixed up.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Paxton is dead now, so
Oh yeah, well, R.I.P.
yeah.
Who
So
was in Lost Highway? Was that
that was
Pullman?
Pullman.
That was Pullman. Was in Lost Highway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is a great game show. Paxton or Pullman.
Paxton or Pullman. That
I
can be a
think
new segment. Yeah.
it's just you have a 50-50% chance.
It'd be like one of those you have a 50 chance, but you always get it wrong somehow. That's how I would do it. I'd be wrong every time,
Yeah.
even though it's yeah, be wrong a statistically significant amount of times.
Who was in Twister? Paxton or Pullman?
I'm gonna say Paxton.
Yes.
Hey,
Hey, yeah. Ding ding ding.
we
Yeah.
knew it. Uh,
Speaking of Paxton, what about Torres Mendez?
Torres Mendez. So Torres Mendez is the first kind of enemy boss guy, technical term that you
Yep.
encounter. So he's a priest and he's the chief of the village.
I guess I didn't really put together that he was a priest. I don't know how that was lost on me.
Yeah, and it seems like he's been infected with the Las Plagas. This whole game, you go to Spain looking for the president's daughter, and you find this cult that's infecting their members with these fossilized worms that are
Yes.
parasites called the Las
Yes.
Plagas. So
Yes.
that's their plan. We'll get into more of that when we get into the story. But yeah, Torres Mendez, he's been infected with the Plagas, but some people that get infected, it's not really clear to me if this is something inherent to them, or there's certain types of Las Plagas,
Yeah.
or there's something else with like the ritual aspect of it. But some people turn into just mindless sort of worker bees, and some people retain their faculties and are capable of
Mhm.
directing workflow. So,
Right.
and
Right.
being a village chief. So he's one that has his faculties. And there's a big
Yes,
house, and he's a really big guy with a big
he
coat
is.
and a big
Yeah.
beard.
Big beard, nothing on top.
Yeah. Cool
Um,
design.
yeah, yeah, I think
Yeah.
very intimidating. And I think this is like maybe to me in Resident Evil, the beginning of the kind of, first act villain kind of trope.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like we get that in later games where it's like there's this big intimidating figure. Turns out that they're pretty low on the food chain in terms of, the kind of hierarchy of bad guys.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because yeah, he is physically he's the most imposing. And he
Yes,
beats up kind of beats up Leon pretty easily, at
he
least
does. Yeah.
in
Yeah,
cutscenes. So yeah.
yeah. I like this character. I think doesn't say a lot. We don't know much about him, but is a good kind of heavy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, the merchant.
The merchant. So this is going to be a big new mechanic as well. So there's a shop and an economy in this game, and it all revolves around the merchant. So he's a mysterious hooded figure with a black mask, and he sells you guns and gun upgrades and ammo and case upgrades and first aid sprays. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And he's
tells you what you need to get through the game. He's on your side.
and he's Australian,
He is Australian. Yeah, he has Australian accent. Although
right?
it's actually voiced by the same actor that Leon.
Hmm.
Yeah, which
How
I didn't know
interesting.
until I was watching stuff about this game. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, very
Yeah.
iconic. He has lots of lines that people repeat. There's the famous "What are you buying?"
What
line.
are you
Uh,
selling?
like to
Yeah.
repeat, "What are you selling?" That's a
Aha.
rare find, stranger.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
say. So
And I like that we don't know anything about this character or why he's here.
yeah, you really don't. He's very mysterious. There's theories that there's multiple merchants.
Right.
One thing that supports that, at least in this game, if he dies, like he's in multiple different locations for his different shops. And if you kill one of them, they won't be at that shop anymore, but they'll still be at the other shops.
Right.
So that maybe
Right.
supports that there's a merchant multiverse out there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Interesting. That sounds just like capitalism.
Yeah.
The merchant multiverse.
But then
Uh,
they're either like they're aware of everything that's happening, So maybe
yes.
they're a hive mind. I don't know.
Yeah,
Very
I
interesting guy.
I just like that it does not the game does not care about explaining it at all. And I think it's actually
No.
better for it.
Yeah, I like that we get no merchant lore. He's just there. He's just a cool
Yeah.
design. He's yeah, looks like a wizard.
Yeah, and pulls his coat open and has a bunch of guns and ammo.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm like, this is a very cool design, but if I saw this person in real life, I would be very afraid.
Yes, yeah, I would cross the street. Same with
Yeah.
the tourists, honestly.
Yeah.
8 foot tall guy was stomping towards you with a frown. I'd maybe cross the street. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
If the younger
yeah.
cop was coming at me, I'd be like, "Hey, you got smoke?" And he'd give me one.
Yeah.
That
And
worked out
then
well.
and
Yeah.
then you'd feed him to a lake monster.
And feed him to my fish. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah. So
Merchant,
you
good
meet
character.
yeah, really good character. And one of the things that people really like about this game, one of the iconic parts about this game. Another main character, probably the most significant character besides Luis and I'm sorry, Luis. Besides Leon and Ashley is Luis Sarah.
Well, what about Ada?
I think he's more significant to the story than Ada is.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, we can talk about Luis first, but yeah, so he claims he was a cop,
How
but
did
is
you
that
take that?
I don't think
Who am I
that's
referring
true.
to then? Because when you first meet him and you're kind of like getting to know each other, and Leon mentions that he was a cop just for a day in Raccoon City.
Hmm.
And then Luis mentioned that he was a cop. I forget if he says in Madrid or if that just later implied, but he quit because you risk your life and no one appreciates you. But I've seen interpretation of that he's lying, like he just doesn't want to reveal himself fully to Leon yet because he doesn't know Leon, so he just makes up that he's a cop. When I played it, I took it at face value. I was like, oh yeah, he was a cop, they became a scientist, like classic cop to scientist.
I think
But
that's why I'm skeptical is like
yeah,
these seem like very different career paths and but then again, I mean, he is pretty good with a gun.
yeah,
So,
I mean, Luis is. I like this character. He's all over the place. So, but
yeah.
just to give some more background, so he's a local to the area. So he grew up in this rural part of Spain, Villalobos. He the chief knows his grandfather. He remarks about Luis getting around by using the same hunting trails as grandfather used.
Hmm.
He is a scientist. He's a biologist. So eventually, he was recruited by Los Illuminados, the cult that Batoris Mendes works for, and the other bad guys in this game. And he's researching the Las Plagas. He's fascinated by this sort of parasitic organism
Right.
and what
Right.
it can do. So he's not an evil character, but he got too deep into it with
Right.
before he realized what the research was being used for. And I
And
was trying
I
to tone.
And I think that there were some points in the game, I think it was in a memo, which I'm sure we'll talk about later, where I think he started to realize that this would not be used for good, but I think he kind of writes in his journal that he's like, but I'm too fascinated to like step away from
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, he's almost like a more moral version of like a Birkin, where
Yeah.
you kind of get the sense that Birkin was just like he was mainly there for like the research, or even
Yeah.
like a James Marcus, where he was like mostly in the research and was just amoral.
Right.
Whereas yeah, Luis he liked the research and that led him to look the other way longer than he should. But now he's trying to
Yeah.
fix. He's trying to make sure
Right.
this
Right.
this cult doesn't succeed and take over the world or infect anyone else. So
And I think I'm a little bit more critical of this character. I do agree with you that he's all over the place, but I think it feels so strange to me that his motivations are so occluded, I think, in the beginning. It's just like, you know, he's a scientist. He's trying to like stop this thing from being unleashed on the world. Leon's clearly there to also do that, even though he doesn't know that yet. So I just feel like his motivations are somewhat unclear. And when he'll just like leave for large stretches of the
yeah,
game, it's kind of strange.
yeah, you get the sense there's more going on to him than he's working with somebody else. Because yeah,
Right.
he'll help Leon and interact with Leon, but he's not like, oh yeah, let's stick together. He has
Right.
his own motivations that he's doing. So, but yeah, I don't know. I think he's a good character. I mean, like I alluded to, kind of place, which is why I'm okay with him being a cop too, because why not? Because he's already like already the stereotype of the sexy Spanish scientist, that
Right.
classic.
Yeah. Right. Right. Along with cowardly pilots, and
Yeah.
some other stereotypes we talked about on the pod.
Yeah, he's like a Latin lady. He's another Latin ladies man, a la Carlos. At least
Right.
I think he's more charming than Carlos, but
Well, yeah, yes
he's
and
better dressed than
no.
Carlos.
He's better
You know,
dressed than
he's
Carlos.
better dressed than Carlos.
Well, that's
Yeah.
not Carlos's fault. He was sent in by Umbrella.
Well, I don't know. Luis was sent in by Ada. He
I
took the
guess. Yeah.
dressed up
Yeah.
like a weird pirate for some reason. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, why does he have like a lace shirt?
yeah,
Just kidding. It's not lace. I don't think the
it's
GameCube
like a
could.
cloth, like an old timey cloth shirt with like
Yeah.
a vest on. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, he was like much like Steve Burnside was based on Leonardo DiCaprio. He was based on Viggo Mortensen.
But that doesn't make any sense to me.
Why not? He has long, stringy hair.
Ouch. Well, are you saying physically or the character?
Um, like his look,
Because like
not
Viggo
not his
Mortensen,
character in terms of like his like what he does or says, but just the way
right,
he
right.
is.
I'm like, he's not acting like the heir to Gondor.
No, he is
Um,
not.
no, but just that Viggo Mortensen is Danish, and like this character, like I get what they were going for, but I'm like, but like, you know, all right, all right.
It's like old timey racism. Like Viggo Mortensen's Danish.
Okay, but I'm just saying it's like a
He's a
weird.
Polak for Christ's sakes. Uh,
It's surprising that I'm not saying they can't base Spanish people off of Danish people, but it's like a weird comparison because like I would have thought that they would have said like, like Javier Bardem or something, right?
I
Who's
think
like actually
somebody
Spanish.
the character designer saw Lord of the Rings. So I was like, oh, that guy looks cool. I'm gonna make a character like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's what it is. So
that's
yeah,
fair. I like that I'm like getting bent out of shape about this. I'm
yeah,
just like, yeah.
yeah.
Um,
And I mean, I don't fault him because I don't know, he's a Japanese guy. I don't expect him to know that Viggo Mortensen's ethnicity beyond. To
beyond
Capcom, they're all white. They're like, it's a bunch of white guys.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
anyway,
yeah,
he kind of looks like him. He's got a like a scruffy sort of beard, goatee thing going on, and long dark hair. So
I
yeah,
believe you called it stringy.
stringy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Luis's hair is more stringy. Vigo's is more flowing.
It's like lush, right?
Yeah, so
I think the difference is Vigo's hot and Luis is not.
mm, yeah. Luis has like a dirtbag hotness to him, I think.
Yeah,
Like I'd hang out with Luis. Do you want to
I
hang
would
out with Luis? I'd hang out with
no,
Luis.
no,
We'd
I
talk.
would not. No,
Yeah,
he
we
he
go.
seems like not a great guy.
Yeah, we go. We'd hit Bourbon Street. We go to
Twerk,
clubs. We dance.
twerk on Bourbon Street.
We'd be twerking. Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Eventually, we'd wake up and we'd have matching tattoos and we'd laugh about it. So
Nice. You get
yeah,
like
it'd be fun.
You get a Los Illuminados tattoo.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's crazy. Yeah, we're doing the dude where's my car thing and reading each other's tattoos. Yeah, so
Nice.
yeah, that'd be me and Luis. And he'd tell me about his exploits as a cop slash scientist.
Right, right.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Um, I would say Ramon Salazar is like the anti-Luis.
yeah, I could see that. He's I like this character. He's the next level of bad guy that you run into.
Right.
So Ramon Salazar, he is the uh eighth Castilian of the castle in this area. There's just
Yes.
randomly a castle. So
Yep.
he's kind of like a lord nobleman. 20 years old. He was targeted by the Los Illuminados cult and taken advantage of. His castle was originally built to contain the Las Plagas
Yes.
by his like what great grandfather, I guess.
Hmm.
Whatever the father times eight would be, because he's the
Right.
eighth person. So
Right.
but yeah, he's cool. He's a little person. He's pretty diminutive in stature.
Yes. And he
And
looks old as shit.
yeah, he looks very old. Like the Lost Plagas have aged him prematurely, but he acts very young and immature. He has like a
Right.
very high pitched, almost like Chucky-esque voice, like the evil
Hmm.
doll Chucky.
Hmm.
But I think it works. I think it's good for this. I think it fits the tone of the game really well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of goofy and ridiculous. And his garb it's like kind of very like,
Very old timey.
yeah, like knockoff Versailles,
Yeah.
and he's got like a weird, like three corner
Yeah, like a
hat.
tricorner hat on.
Yeah.
Just so
Yeah.
bizarre.
It's just like, why?
Yeah.
But he's weird, right? I don't think I realized or I missed it when I first played this game as a teenager that he was actually 20. I was like, this is an old man.
Yeah, because he mentions that it's kind of like a reveal. Like, I forget if Leon calls him old man, but he kind of laughs. He goes, "Despite my appearance, I am only 20 years old."
Right. And it's like,
uh,
that's not actually a flex. It's like you actually
yeah.
just kind of burned yourself.
It's like, oh, you look awful. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But
Um,
yeah. But yeah, no, he's a cool character. So we'll talk about more as we go on. But yeah, Ramon Salazar is the like local nobleman who's been wrapped up in all this cult stuff.
yeah. And I would say, I'm not going to say a lot about this, but I think this is a character that is better in the original than in the remake.
Absolutely, 100% agree.
Yeah.
100% agree. I think
Yeah.
he's the I want to say the rare thing because I think the remake and the original are trying to do different things
Yep.
and strike a different tone. But yeah, he's one of the few things I think is definitively better in the original versus the remake, not just like a matter of taste type of thing. So yeah,
Yeah. And if I may, can I read off Ramon's family tree?
please do.
So his mother was Catalina, his father was Diego the Severe.
Diego
Diego,
Severe.
yeah.
He
Uh,
sounds nice.
yeah, I'm sure he's
He's
a
pretty reasonable.
very
Yeah.
charitable guy.
Yeah.
Diego's parents,
Severely fun to be around is probably what that's short for.
severely fun to be around.
Yeah, Diego the severely fun to be
Oh,
around.
yeah, I
Yeah,
like that. Yeah. His parents were Maria Isabel the lady and Alejandro the lavish.
the lavish.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
Um,
Because I don't know what that means.
yeah. Opulent, I
Yeah, I
guess.
guess so. Yeah.
Then we only have men going up the rest of the family tree, so I
Oh.
don't know what's up with that. But we have Jose Alonso the Tranquil.
The
So
tranquil. Okay.
yeah.
I didn't
Uh
know all this. Was this like a memo you found or
no, this is just in the wiki.
this is in the wiki? Oh,
But I'm
okay.
like, but I'm like, how did they know
It's gotta be
that?
from somewhere. Yeah. I think
Right.
there's a million like comic books and movies about Resident Evil that I've never seen. So
Oh, this
anytime there's
is
something in the wiki that I can't explain, I'm like, eh, it must be from a comic book
it's
slash
from a
movie.
comic. Apparently there is a memo in the remake, so we are
Oh, okay.
jumping ahead. Uh Jose Alonso's father is Gregorio the architect.
Okay.
His
He
father
probably
was
built from the castle then. Yeah.
probably, yeah, he's like, I built
He's like the
a
George
shed.
Trevor of the castle. Maybe.
Yeah, George Gregor.
George.
Uh Hippolito the demon sealer.
Oh, so he's probably the first one then, right?
He's not. He's the
Oh, never
second
mind.
one.
Okay.
And then Gregorio the Conqueror is
Or the
the
conqueror.
like numero uno
Okay.
patriarch.
So maybe
So
he conquered the Las Plagas and the sealer sealed them up.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like I do like that there is at least maybe more fleshed out in the remake of four, but like there is some lineage and history with this family, and Ramon kind of fucks it all up.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, he's
Yeah.
kind of yeah. Sort of similar to the Ashfords. You have
Yeah.
feeling he's kind of like the the decayed sort of declining final
Hmm.
step in this long sad decline of a once proud family.
Right. Which is why Chris is so eager to have Leon get Claire pregnant.
Osmond Sadler is the main bad guy.
Yeah. A
I
cult
like him.
leader and
It's
bioterrorist. Yeah.
again silly, but for the game, I think it's a nice tone.
Yeah, he's a very mustacheless, mustache twirling villain
Yes, yeah, he's big on evil laughs,
and monologues.
monologuing,
Yeah.
walking around in a "I'm an evil guy" robe with an "I'm an evil
Right.
guy" staff.
Right. And his staff is like alive.
Yeah, his staff has the big eye that like can move and
Yeah.
look around. So
Yeah. When he opens his mouth, he has a big eyeball in there, so
mhm.
that's pretty normal.
Yeah. So he's also been um infected by the Las Plagas, but seems to be able to control them, much like
Right,
Ramon does. So that's kind of
right.
the plan is they'll be we're gonna spread the Las Plagas throughout the world, and there'll be sort of a top layer of people in control, and everyone else will be basically the workers, the slaves, the mindless sort of masses, the ganados,
Yes,
livestock. Yeah.
yes, yeah, yeah. I think that I think he fills a role. I don't think he's like a particularly interesting character, but I like him.
Yeah, that's a deep character, but I think it works for the game and the type of game we're doing. I think he's pretty much perfect for it for that. So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think the other characters to me, the other kind of primary villains in the series have been more like kind of either they're like straight up monsters who like don't seem to like have kind of human cognition like tyrants, or they're like people like Wesker who are like kind of shifty,
Yeah.
you know. And so like this character, I guess maybe the closest thing would be Alexia, but like Alexia
Yeah.
was not a good character.
Yeah, I think that more goes to just the environment in terms of the game, the story they're in.
Hmm.
Yeah, because they're a similar character in that all they want, it's very simple. They want to rule the entire world as like a super mega king slash queen and have
Yeah,
everyone underneath them.
yeah,
And Veronica, it's kind of like, all right, it feels a little like undermotivated just with what that game's going for and the themes and everything.
yeah,
And in this
yeah.
game, it's like, yeah, it's a story of good versus evil, and what could be more evil than a guy that wants to enslave the entire world? So
Right.
yeah,
And also I think I kind of understand more how he's going to do it. Whereas I think Alexia, I was like, I don't really understand.
yeah. Sadler at least has like the germ of a plan to get
Right.
things moving.
Yeah,
We'll
Alexia
talk
was
more about how how good of a plan it is, but yeah, Alexi's
yeah.
plan is just like everyone will see how cool I am, and those are like, okay, you win.
Right.
So
They're like, weren't you that girl who we thought was dead who was like a genius? And she's like, yes, and I have tentacles now. It's
yeah,
like,
now I have
okay.
tentacles and also can turn fire. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Couple more new characters. So we have a fairly minor character, but Mike.
Mike.
Mike, he's the helicopter pilot. He shows up in the last kind of act of the game to be a helper for you, and he's very gregarious, very chatty. Seems like a good dude. And then he passes away. He doesn't make it out of the game. So RIP to
Um,
Mike.
you make it sound like his death was like kind of peaceful, but it wasn't.
Yeah, he hits rocket launchers with
Yeah.
helicopter. Oh,
He
yeah,
passes away via rocket
he
launcher.
passes away. Yeah. uh, Mike, Prenzi's helicopter pilot, passed away on Saturday. He was surrounded by cult Las Plagas infected ganados and died doing what I love, burning to death in the helicopter.
Yeah, he leaves behind potentially his only friend, Leon S. Kennedy, with whom he was going to grab a beer.
Yeah, he is survived by Leon Kennedy and an unpaid bar tab. Yeah. Anyway,
Uh,
RP Mike, you helped.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
you
like
made a difference.
the like best person that we've like mentioned here, and we're like being the meanest to him.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh,
um,
Jack, you gonna do Jack Krauser? What were your thoughts on
yeah.
Jack Krauser?
What did you say? What is there to say about Jack
What
Krauser?
are your thoughts about Jack Krauser? What do
Oh,
you
I
think?
thought I was like, this isn't a eulogy, though he is dead. Um, I okay, well, I guess I'll say who he is first, and then I'll say what I
Yeah,
think. So Jack Krauser is a character that enters a game, I would say like two-thirds to three-quarters of the way through.
yeah.
He is
Kind of out of
Leon's,
nowhere,
yeah, kind of, yeah.
at least in real time. Yeah,
He's Leon's former commander, and he's working with Wesker to infiltrate Los Illuminados. And he was the one who kidnapped Ashley in the first place. And so he has this whole plan to kind of, give her to Sadler in exchange for a sample of the Las Plagas.
yeah. He's another kind of double agent type of guy.
Yeah. I understand this character. I don't think it's entirely successful.
It's my least favorite character in the game. I don't hate it. but it feels like it's almost a little too much even for this game. He seems like
Hmm.
he's out of another world.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
world to me is 80s action films.
Yeah, yeah, like he's very yeah, like an 80s action flick. Like he'd be going against like Sylvester Stallone
Yeah,
or Arnold Schwarzenegger, or he'd be like the evil enemy commander.
right. And they're like he's clearly like German, right? So they're like he's the European like strong man who's
Yeah,
like right, his face is painted and he's macho.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He's kind of a hyper competent super soldier type of guy. So
Yeah, he gives
he's
me
also
a
been affected with the Las Plagas, but
yes, he gives me kind of direct to DVD vibes.
yeah, yeah, direct.
Um,
So
and I
yeah,
think some of
so
that's
we'll see it.
intentional and some of it's not.
I think it's intentional, but I don't know. It's kind of that thing where it's hard to explain, but it just for whatever reason, Salazar and Mendez and Sadler all work for me as kind of simplistic, cartoonish evil villains. And Krauser just doesn't work for me. I don't know. I was never that into
Yeah,
Krauser.
I think there's just to me something about the type of trope, right?
Yeah,
Like
that
I
might
think
be.
it's just it's too recognizable. It's like
Yeah.
this is a blonde guy with a beret who seems like a Jean-Claude Van Damme knockoff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And he enters the game, like you said, kind of out of nowhere. You're like,
Yeah. Out of
who is
nowhere. Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Um,
I admire the balls to just like introduce a character and just not give any backstory. But just for them, like, oh, you know who this is? It's Jack Krauser. And it's like, no, I don't know who that is. So
right, yeah. Yeah.
but when I was first playing this, I was just like kind of like, oh, all right.
Yeah.
It can be enough where you can like that him and Leon have some sort of past together, and they used to be comrades on the same side, kind of mentor student relationship, and then at some point they have falling out, and now Krauser hates Leon. So yeah,
Right. Right.
but
Yeah.
you don't really know precisely what happened at this point.
Right. And I think the later games flesh that out. I think actually like the side entry games.
Yeah, yeah, some of the side entry games flesh out a little bit more, and yeah, but
Right. Yeah. Yeah, kind of a weird character. I think my sense is that this character was pretty well received.
yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't know if everybody's. Yeah, yeah, I could. Yeah, I believe so. And yeah, part of it is just I like his area is kind of cool, like the actual gameplay in it. I think it's kind of cool.
Yeah, and I think that the kind of shift from just like mowing down Las Plagas cultists to like a more hand-to-hand tactical enemy, I think is fun.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's something different. So yeah. So
Yeah.
Jack Krauser, he's fine. He's a real 6 out of 10 for me. But
Yeah, yeah, he's fine. I think the story needs him in here for it to make sense.
yes, yeah, he is a necessary part of the story. So he's a big
Yeah.
part of separate ways too. Once we get into
Yeah.
separate ways, but
Though I will say, and maybe this is a conversation for later, but it is a little unclear to me how he actually kidnapped Ashley. Like he didn't know her, right? Like he just like showed up and kidnapped her.
yeah, yeah, it kind of seems like they just like snatched her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it just like has that, yeah, big of a complicated sort of operation. But yeah, um, so yeah, that's Jack Krauser. So that's pretty much all the new characters. Um,
yeah. Well, you
yeah,
forgot one important character,
yeah. The only other character I played for new characters was the dog.
the dog.
Yeah, so it's part of the game, and there's you can play alongside a dog in this game for brief periods of time.
Right, because you got to
Yeah.
free him from a trap.
Yeah, you free him from a trap, and he comes and helps you against one of the bosses. And Leon says, "Hey, it's that dog."
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah. Good job, dog.
yeah. So
Yeah.
just that's kind of cool. I like games and movies where there's a dog friend.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's fine. So I guess we have really three returning characters here.
Yeah, so you kind of see how much the story just knew, and they kind of were like, "All right, we gotta clear the deck because yeah, there's only a handful of returning characters." So obviously Leon, who we've referenced already, Leon's back.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember I was surprised that he was back, right? And that he was in the employ of the US president, right, on this particular detail to rescue Ashley, the president's daughter.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of implied that he went to kind of military slash high level law enforcement after the Raccoon City incident and has been training and refining his skills. And yeah, he was tapped for this special mission to go to this lonely and rural part of Europe, as he puts it, and search for the president's daughter. But yeah, he's this is kind of Leon as we know him now is
Hmm.
really defined by four because two he was rookie cop and was kind of like innocent and this one he's much more sarcastic and sardonic and sort of
Assured.
very yeah assured of himself. So yeah, we get a more mature and more weathered version of Leon in this game versus RE2.
Right. And I do think, yeah, they really kind of injected him with this kind of one-liner type personality, which I think comes to kind of define the character. Whereas I don't think in two he really had that persona.
No, he really didn't. Yeah, it was really this game was when he started being the wisecracking action hero Leon. So, but I think it's really well done and super good look the way they designed him. He's
Yeah.
got a cool jacket on, and yeah, just all around cool guy, Leon
Yeah.
Kennedy.
Yeah. He is a really good protagonist. Um, Kind of goofy, right? His one-liners are ridiculous. I'm sure that we'll reference many throughout
Yeah,
our
we'll
our
have many,
recordings.
and there's lots of YouTube compilations over there of Leon saying dumb shit or Leon's
Yeah.
one-liners, and yeah, it was Fee Bang 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 of yeah, it's very those are fun to watch. So, but yeah, we'll get more into Leon, but he's the main returning character, the person you play as, and I think is really good part of the game and one of the reasons why the game works so well.
I
And yeah, voiced by Paul Mercier, um, who is a voice actor, also the Merchant, and recently passed away. So RIP to him.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. RIP. I will say that, I mean, like, I kind of know your answer to this, but I'll ask anyway. Like, do you think that this game would have been as successful if Chris was the main character? Because that's the only other character I could see actually being like fitting into the story.
Yeah, unless they just went with a totally new character, yeah, it would kind of have to be Chris. I'm trying to let my own personal feelings get in the way.
Yeah.
It's hard. I feel like Chris would have made it more successful, but maybe it would have just been the same.
Hmm.
I feel like it would be less fondly remembered by people if it was Chris. But in terms of like popularity and sales, I don't know if it would have affected it. What do you think?
Um, I think that the game would have been as just as successful, but yeah, I don't think Chris would have been as likable. I mean, unless they developed his personality and they gave him Leon's personality.
Yeah, Chris, the Chris we know doesn't fit in this game.
No,
Yeah.
no. Also, just side note, I'm pretty sure that Paul Mercier is not dead.
Oh, are you sure?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't list it on his Wikipedia page, and then his website is still pretty active, and yeah.
Okay. I saw that on a YouTube video. It said that he had passed away.
Did he
Uh,
get rocket launched as well?
so we're both right, Logan,
Hmm.
because several individuals named Palmer's here have passed away. But the actor named Palmer's here is still living. So
So,
hey, good news. Good news,
yeah,
Paul. You're still
yeah,
with us.
yeah.
Congrats.
And with all due respect to the other Paul Merciers who've not survived.
Yeah. Too
And
bad. But also call me when you voice Leon Kennedy, other
yeah,
Paul Merciers.
I
And maybe
hope
I'll wish a happy death
I hope they weren't rocket launched. That would suck.
if they weren't. So anyway, Paul Mercier. Happy report he's still alive.
Yep, yep, yep. We had a scare.
Yeah,
Uh,
I was really worried about it. Uh, if you donate money to the Paul Mercier GoFundMe I set up, refunds will be coming shortly. So
oh, okay. Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah. If you donated within the 5 minute span that we figure
Yeah.
this out.
Yeah. But anyway, we got two more returning characters.
Yeah. Ada's back.
Ada's back, a fan favorite, and this is
Yeah.
also kind of the same way that Leon. They sort of redefine your character and make her into a more less grounded
Yes.
character, more of a yeah. But
She's
I
like a
kind of like it.
I'm
She's like a femme
mixed on it.
fatale type
Yeah,
of
she's like a straight up super spy now.
yeah, super spy, sexy femme fatale lady.
Yeah, wears a red dress, with a
She's
high
dressed
slit in
absurdly.
tactical combat situations. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. She has yeah, like stiletto heels and a cocktail dress on for this top secret mission. So yeah, she's
right. She's got those like
kind of ridiculous.
2000s era sunglasses that are like really
Yeah.
small and kind of matrixy that
Yeah,
self-destruct.
the small sunglasses that were popular at the time. But
Right.
yeah. But yeah, she's here. She's kind of a romantic interest of Leon's. There's some kind of tension there, some flirtatiousness there, and she's again just kind of a mysterious person who's working her own angle. She's working for somebody, but also maybe doing her own kind of thing. It's
Yep.
you don't really know what her motivations are. If she's a double agent, triple agent, yeah, what her ultimate goals are. You never really know. So yeah.
Right. And I think that both works and it's frustrating to me. I think it's basically just kind of her deal from two. You're like, what's this person's deal? And it's like, well, I guess they're going to be doing more of the same. They're going to be shifty. They might be a double or triple agent. We're not really going to know.
They kind of stripped all the emotion and pathos out of it though.
Hmm.
Yeah, because in two she was like at times a little conflicted with Leon. And then there
Right.
was that kind of bizarre post-credit scene in three where it talked about
Right.
her sort of like moving away from the Ada Wong persona. And then yeah, they kind of dropped all that and just like,
Right.
no, she's just gonna be like super sexy spy lady. And
Right.
I'm fine with it, but it's a big character shift from yeah, from what seemed like the path that they were on with her.
Yeah, less, and I think this is like kind of maybe representative of the series as a whole, like moving in this direction. Less mystery, more just like very overt.
What do you mean? Like
Like I
motivation
think
wise or just her
I
her
think
thing?
as yeah, like I think like her characterization, right? Like you said, she's like kind of like a sexed up femme fatale, right? And I think like the earlier entries in the series, I think were more focused on mystery and kind
Oh,
of
okay, I gotcha.
ambiguity. And this is like I would say there's nothing really ambiguous about this game. It's announces what it is
Hmm.
pretty clearly. I think it does horror and action well, but I don't think it's certainly not subtle.
No,
Um,
it's not subtle. And I don't
yeah.
want it to be subtle, so I'm okay with it.
No, 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 no.
Yeah. But
So yeah, I think I'm glad Ada's in this game. I think we talked about this a little bit before recording, but like I'm a little tired of her shtick already, but I get it, and I get why
yeah.
people like it.
Yeah. And we'll get a lot more of her in separate ways.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say six, and I was like, yeah,
Also six. Yeah.
yeah,
And then kind of a returning character is Wesker. He gets mentioned in the base game and then he's in separate ways. So he's kind of again behind the scenes pulling the strings and directing different people. Ada and
yes,
Jack Krauser are both working for him.
yes. And in separate ways, we only see him on like Ada's like pseudo Palm Pilot screen, pretty
Just
much.
sitting like a throne.
Yeah, he's like in like it looks like
Doing Wesker stuff. Yeah.
yeah, it looks like his background is like the kind of green black representation of cyberspace. You know what I mean? It just
Yeah,
looks
it's kind of
like
weird. Yeah.
yeah, and
Just
he's
like
just like
floating and yeah,
and he's
in
just got like a
stratosphere.
turtleneck and it's just like okay. Um and he's just talking like this,
Yeah, he's
It's
being Wesker.
he's being Wesker, but he
He's Weskin.
he's Weskin. He doesn't say premature, unfortunately.
He doesn't say
Yeah.
that's irrelevant.
Right.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So yeah, that's our cast of characters.
Sarcastic characters. Yeah,
Yeah,
good
it's a good
stuff.
one. It's a good one.
Good
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. So along with this game, really kind of changing the environment, we're out of Raccoon City. There are a host of new mechanics, and this is really, I think what Mikami is referring to as the full model change, because this feels and plays like an entirely different game
Yes.
than the
Yeah.
ones we had before. So, just to kind of run through some of these shifts, we don't have pre-rendered environments anymore, and we have a dynamic camera and environment system. So you are moving Leon throughout the environment. The camera is following him. We do not have static or fixed angles or shots anymore. I know that in Code Veronica, we got a little bit of camera movement, but this is much more full, much more free. It doesn't feel tethered to anything.
Yeah. 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 So it's very conducive to that kind of like third person over the shoulder combat style where the camera is just always going to be positioned behind me on even though the control scheme is technically the same, like you still can
Hmm.
press up and move forward no matter which direction you're
Yeah.
facing.
Yeah.
So yeah, which is kind of it works and you get used to it. It took me a little bit to get used to it
Yeah.
just coming back. But yeah, it's a really good change. It really modernized the series.
It does, yeah. And I don't think it can really be overstated that that over-the-shoulder third-person view um, really just, I don't know if this was the first game to do it per se, but it certainly, I think, contributed heavily to that being a very mainstream kind of
Yeah.
point of view in shooters and third-person action games.
Yeah. You play any like third person shooter for the next, 5, 10 years after this, and you're like, oh, this is RE4,
Yep. Yep.
essentially. So yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of combat, you can actually aim now.
Yeah. So they really overhauled the combat system. So in the other games, you can technically aim, you can aim down, straight, level, or up. And this game you can actually like use the stick and aim with some kind of like sensitivity and fidelity, and you can target individual body parts. So you can target
Yeah.
headshots, you can target a zombie's Aganato's legs to knock them down, knock them to their knees, or knock them off their feet. You can shoot somebody's arm to make them drop an axe. You can shoot somebody's explosive they're holding to make it blow up. So yeah, so they really,
Yeah.
really overhauled the gunplay and made that much more um what's the word I'm looking for here?
Refined, detailed,
Refined and like
specific.
immersive,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's yeah.
Yeah. I found that this was not intentional, but I feel like I was shooting the Ganados in the ass a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
why. Like I'm just like maybe they're bent over. And I was like,
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. And they do they take more damage for headshots. So you most for the most part I'll go for headshots, but yeah,
right.
like shooting people in real life, it's easier to aim for the vitals, aim for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
chest.
Yeah. Um, I also think to the point that you're making about the kind of immersion of the combat, the kind of weapons now do different things. So there's variety in the weapons, which
Yeah.
is a series. I wouldn't say it's a series first per se, but to me in the older games, I think we see this more in Remake and Zero, like the shotgun, more damage, right? More close range, the weaker bullets of a machine gun. But I think that this is really developed and fleshed out now, whereas I think in the previous games, a lot of times the weapons just felt the same. And there wasn't really any point to talking about them.
Yeah, there's more strategy with what weapons you're using. Like you're gonna want to use different weapons in different situations, not just necessarily, oh, I'm at the boss, so now I'm gonna use my bigger weapons, my shotguns, my
Right.
handguns. You might use a rifle in a certain case because that's just the best weapon for that. You're far away from your enemy. Or if there's a lot of enemies that are very close counter, you switch to the shotgun. Or if there's you need to be moving really fast, you might use the machine gun. So yeah, there's it's more you can customize your playstyle a little bit more by choosing the type of weapon you like and the type of weapon you want to use in a specific situation.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's why it feels so modern and fresh as well, is because you know, it's I think just a really well designed and well calibrated system. The
Yeah.
weapons don't feel redundant. Like some games, like I don't play a lot of shooters, but some games are just like, here's 20 different guns and seven of them do the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
this is everything has its niche and everything has
Yeah.
its
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah. And you pretty much stick with, you have one pistol, one rifle, one machine gun. You can swap them out, you can upgrade them, but yeah, for the most part, you're gonna keep one of each for the different situations you find yourself in. Uh,
Right.
there's melee combat too, so you
Oh,
can
yes.
yeah
Yes.
you can if you stun an enemy by shooting the head or something else happens to them, knock them down, you'll get prompt to press X and then you'll do some sort of like drop kick to them or uh, if you're behind them, you give them like a suplex, which is kind of
Yeah.
cool. You like grab them and yeah, like you're like Kurt Angle, just suplexing people. So that's kind of neat.
Yeah. I wonder if I mean, do you think like I mean Capcom had to be thinking about Zangief, right?
Yeah, I mean he's probably saying
IEF.
yeah, because he was supposed to be like a Russian wrestler,
Yeah, and
right?
he
Yeah,
suplexes everybody.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I make it sound like he's in real life. It's like, yeah, he suplexed my
He
mom the other
suplex everybody.
day. He like
Yeah,
suplexed like
yeah,
the gas station clerk. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Leon has like these ridiculous, like spin
yeah.
roundhouse.
Very John Claude Van Damme
Yeah.
type of martial art type of moves.
And
So
it's very funny to me.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool though. It's very stylish, but it's
Okay.
uh, the knife is really powerful in this game too.
Yeah, it really is. And this is something I did a lot. I would down a Ganado and then just slash the enemy with the knife.
Yeah, and they make it a lot easier to do it because you don't have to like go into the menu and select the knife.
Yeah.
You can just hold like R1 and yeah, just always has a knife equipped for that. So
Yeah, which is
yeah.
great.
Yeah, that makes life a lot easier.
Right.
Yeah. So
Um, and I
speaking of
guess,
that, oh
yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I,
No, I
I was
think
just
we're
wait, yeah, speaking of equipping things, there's a new inventory system.
right. Yeah, which is,
Yeah.
I think, a really welcome addition.
It's a very welcome addition. I think they kind of solved it. I mean, you don't have a limited inventory, but you have basically an inventory that's just for your weapons and your healing items. So key items don't take up inventory space, which I
Yes.
think is a very welcome
Yeah.
addition
Thank
and
goodness.
contributes to kind of like the fast pace, move forward type of gameplay that you have, very combat focused gameplay where you're not having to backtrack to oh I left that key in the item box or oh I left the wooden emblem in the item box type of things.
Right, right. So yeah, no more item boxes. We just have an attaché case that has a limited number of spots, and you can inventory Tetris your items, so make them fit in a manner to optimize space. You can upgrade your case throughout and be able to hold more. Yeah, I thought this was a really elegant solution.
Yeah, it's really well done. It's very yeah, the inventory Tetris too that people talk about. That's almost like a meta game. Like people will post like, "Oh, here's how I organize my stuff." Or and there's I think there's some indie games like Steam games that where that's the whole game is just them organizing
Ugh.
the inventory. So,
I'm sorry. I mean, I'm glad that people enjoy that,
yeah,
but I'm
people are
like,
all sorts of
I
stuff.
was just like, I don't know, just clean your fucking house instead, Like it's just like
That at least is more abstract than some of the like I don't know. And again, people can like whatever
yeah,
they like.
yeah,
But
exactly. I'm
when people
I'm
are like, "Oh,
glad.
I played Lawn Mowing Simulator for 6 hours," I'm like, oh, "Okay, sounds
Right.
fun."
Yeah, yeah. I played a game where I organized a shelf
Yeah,
for a few hours, and it's like, why don't you just do that in real life?
yeah.
You know?
That I've never been into like respect these games. I obviously a lot of people love them. I think they're cute, but like Animal Crossing type of games, like I'm never motivated
Oh,
to like build a house in a game or clean a house in a game or decorate a house in a game. I just don't care.
that's interesting. I was into Animal Crossing New Horizons. It was fun to a point, and
Yeah,
that point for me was maybe 200 hours.
200.
Something like that.
Okay, that's respectable. I
Yeah.
I, I said 200 because I didn't know if you said 200 or two. Because for me, it was
Oh,
about 2 hours. So I
two
was like, all right,
hours.
I'm
Yeah.
done.
Yeah. Yeah. But I get it. Like, I think after a while, I think I'm like, I'd rather just actually be doing that,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
played I like Stardew Valley. I'm a big Stardew Valley guy.
I know people really love Stardew Valley. I like it. There's almost too much to do in there.
Yeah.
You could do
Um
anything.
yeah, and that's I think that's what people like about it, but yeah. But even that game I didn't really like again that you can play it however you want. So I very much was just like I just want to make like $1 million, $1 million, and I didn't do like all I did was farm. I just made like a giant factory farm, and I spent all day optimizing like my sprinkler system and canning. Like I had this whole thing, and that's all I did. Like I didn't do. People were like, "Oh, who'd you marry?" I was like, I never talked to anyone. I didn't marry anybody. I just did my farm all day for 2 years, for 2 years straight, and I turned the game off. I was like, all right, that was fun.
That's very funny, but it gives you like a chance to like engage in a life that you wouldn't otherwise live, right?
Yeah,
You're
it
like, who
does.
would want to do that? Who would actually want to just like
Yeah.
farm and have no fun?
Yeah, that's kind of funny. It's like it's the whole premise of the game is you're burnt out with the city life, so you want to live a
Right.
simpler, more idyllic
Right.
life where you do subsistence farming for 18 hours a day. It's like, oh, so relaxing. Yeah, but
That's very funny. I like that.
anyway, you
Yeah.
can organize your inventory system,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
fun.
And you can play whole games where you just do that.
Yeah, yeah, if you
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
Yep. There's, going with the dynamic camera system and the not pre-rendered environments, there's a much greater variety of interactions in the world. So you can jump over things. It's context-based. There's not just a standard jump button, but like
Yeah.
if you're on a ledge, you can jump up. If you're on a gap, you can jump over. Interact with puzzles. You can shoot things in the environment, so you can shoot down buckets and treasures. And then there's exploring barrels make a return, but they're a lot
Yep.
easier to shoot than the previous game. So yeah, much more interactive environment than the previous games.
Right. Right. Yeah. And it's such a game changer for this series, right? Whereas I think, I mean, even like our discussion of three, granted, I guess three was technically like 3 games ago now, right? Because we've since had Veronica remake four,
Hmm.
but we didn't even know that the exploding environmental items in three were actually able to
Yeah,
be
we
interacted
like played
with,
the whole game, and they're like, "Oh, is that what they do?"
right? Oh, you could blow those up,
Yeah,
So yeah, very, very clear here. Lots of boxes and crates to break open that have
yeah, yeah.
items, so yeah,
Pieces,
pretty
pieces
fun.
of the castle. Yeah, yeah. It's fun. It's cool to it's fun to break stuff in games. Feels good.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does. Yeah, as Freddie D says, right?
yeah. Some
Yeah,
days.
just one of those days.
Yeah.
We're
Oh, that's
never, yeah,
some days.
yeah.
I forgot the lyrics to great stuff. Yeah.
We're never gonna escape the sheen of new metal on this podcast.
No, I never wanted to.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
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 We have QTEs or QuickTime events, right? So prompts pop up on the screen, oftentimes in cutscene form, and you gotta press a button real quick, or you gotta press a button repeatedly, or wiggle the joystick.
Yeah.
Um,
Speaking of, sorry, I may cut you off.
no, it's okay.
But yeah, speaking of like influential things, this was very influential to the point that
Yeah.
these were like derided a few years later
Yes.
for being overdone. But in this game, I thought it was cool. It forces you to pay attention during the cutscenes too. A lot of them happen during
Yep.
cutscenes. Well, you can't just put down your controller because someone might throw a knife at you, and you have to press X and O simultaneously to dodge it, or press R and L simultaneously to dodge it. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Keeps you on your toes, like you said. Gives just, yeah, the game a little bit more juice. Pop quiz for you. What game is most notably associated with QTEs prior to Resident Evil?
Prior to Resident Evil,
Yes. So
I have no idea.
yeah, Shenmue with
Oh, Shenmue, that makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah, they
lots
did
of
do that. Yeah,
QTEs in Shenmue.
yeah. I feel like I saw them a lot more after, especially like
But yes.
in an action game context. I feel like I saw them
Yes,
after.
you're 100% right. Like this, like QTEs were around forever. And then I also agree with the critique. I was like, I got a little tired of it. I was like,
Yeah,
I don't need to mash X right now. But yeah, a welcome addition really contributes to the action elements of the game. And I think it also to me, I mean, not that these things are diametrically opposed, but like this is an action game straight up.
Yeah, very
It's
much so.
not super adventure-y, and like there aren't a lot of puzzles. I think there are a fair amount, but they're not. I would say they take a back seat.
Definitely, yeah, yeah, they do very much so.
Yeah. We have a whole economy in this world now.
Yeah, it versus money.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
what that does.
Yes. We can buy and sell items, which is like, I remember when this game came out, I was like, what? Like, I'm buying and selling stuff? Like, that's wild.
Yeah, and that's kind of in a weird way, can kind of work as an item box. Like
Yeah.
if you are out of room, you can sell something and then buy it back from the merchant
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
And it's nice because it different ways to make money. You can give them from item drops. Enemies will sometimes drop money. You can find it in boxes. You can find it just hidden around. And you can also get treasures. So there's a whole
Yes.
treasure system where you can find, antique watches and lamps and jewels, and sometimes you can combine them into other things to make new treasures. And yeah, it's very cool. Gives you more incentive to explore and pay attention to your surroundings. So I like it.
Yes. Yeah. They're literal treasure maps in this
Yes,
game.
yeah, you buy literal treasure maps, and this is
Yeah.
all done for the merchant.
Right. Right.
He's
Um,
your your line to capitalism.
I think I found that when I was replaying this game, I kind of didn't realize what went into what. And so I would somehow make the mistake of selling the thing before combining like the jewel into the cat statue. So I fucked that up a lot.
Yeah, it's tough because if you don't find everything, you can yeah kind of screw yourself. But the way it tells you can when you find a treasure, you can examine it, and it'll generally tell you like say you find a lamp, it'll be like, oh, there's divots where it looks like something used to be set
Yeah.
inside. Or if you find a jewel, say like, oh, there's some scratches on the side. Looks like this used to be set inside something. So it'll kind of signal to you like what's safe to sell as is and what you should save to combine down the line to get more money.
Right. Right. And sometimes I got that. Sometimes I was impatient. I just had a lot of spinels, a lot of emerald spinels.
A lot of spinels, a lot of the cat's eyes that you get later on, velvet
Yeah.
blues, lots of velvet blues. So
Yep. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Um,
merchant, he has the exclusive import export license to this area of Spain because he's the only person you can buy from. So
right.
yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Um, so yeah, I think that's a welcome addition. It gives the game, I think like almost like a more arcadey feel to me.
I can see that, but in a good way, you
Yeah,
know?
I liked it.
Yeah. And again, it's not a game, it's a game that's gonna reward you for combat and reward you for taking out enemies and fighting the enemies. You're not encouraged really to avoid the enemies the way you were in the prior
Nope.
games. And the
Nope.
economy is part of that, is that
Right.
you get money from
Yeah.
killing the monsters. So yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's the loop. You get money to from killing monsters to buy new guns, to kill more monsters, to get more money to buy
yeah.
more guns. So yeah.
Yeah. It's when you put it like that, it's like, ooh, yikes. That sounds
Yeah.
bad.
Oh, well,
Um,
yeah.
I mean, by the end of the game in my playthrough, I killed almost 1,000 people.
But I think they're gone by now, right?
Well, they kind of have a cure by the end.
Oh, do they have
So,
a cure? Oh,
well,
oops.
right? Like
Sorry.
they
Sorry, Spanish Village.
like you would think that they could probably mass produce that.
Yeah. Well, it's a game. I don't
Yeah.
know. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're like, oh well.
If I want to not kill stuff, I'll play Metal Gear Solid. If
Yeah.
I want to sneak by everything and not kill stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Um, we've got weapon upgrades. We can upgrade our weapons in terms of firepower, in terms of reload speed, in terms of ammo capacity, and in terms of rate of fire.
Yes. Yeah. And this is also done by the merchant.
Right.
And you basically get your money back. Like if you upgrade a pistol, then a better pistol comes along, you can sell your upgrade pistol and basically get back what you put into it. So
Yep.
that's kind of nice. There's not as much opportunity cost with basically if you can upgrade a weapon, just do it. You don't have to think that hard about it, which I kind of like
Yeah.
that too. So
But I also like didn't have enough money to upgrade everything, so I did have to be a little judicious.
I don't know if you can fully upgrade everything on a
I don't,
first
I
playthrough.
don't think so.
Yeah, because I know there's you can definitely do it because there's special dialogue from the merchant if you upgrade every gun.
Oh,
But it might be something that yeah you have to do it on like a new game plus. I don't know if there's
mm,
yeah maybe there is maybe there's enough money if you get every single treasure to upgrade
interesting.
everything. But yeah, so yeah that's yeah it's a cool and gives you some you can kind of pick your favorite weapon or the weapon you like and
Hmm.
upgrade it the
Hmm.
most if you find yourself, oh, I'm using the machine gun a lot, so I'm gonna upgrade that. Or oh, I really like the handgun. I like that feel. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool.
And I think we'll probably have some discussion of the guns, maybe toward the superlatives when we wrap up this this game,
Yeah,
because I think there's a lot to talk about, and I'm curious to know like what you gravitated toward.
yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it kind of goes in with the more robust combat system. That's kind of
Hmm.
part of it. A really cool thing that you might not notice just playing the game, but it's definitely affects yeah your enjoyment of it and how well received this is. They introduced something called dynamic difficulty with this game. And something a lot of games have done since, and especially Resident Evil games do really well. But basically, the game on its own, you can pick what difficulty you have, but then
Uh-huh.
the game, based on how you're playing, will adjust the difficulty. So if you're dying a bunch, it will start giving you more, ammo. It will start making the enemies a little bit easier to deal with, a little bit less aggressive, and vice versa. If you're tearing through everything, it might make the enemies a little bit harder. It might give you a little bit less ammo or less healing items. So it's just a way to kind of keep you on your toes and make sure the game's challenging to whatever level you want to be challenging for.
Hmm. Yeah, and I didn't actually know that that was a feature. I think I saw that there was, I think you could select a difficulty level, so I didn't realize that the game adjusted like that.
Yeah, yeah. So like, yeah, two people playing the game, you might have like the same experience, but like the same subjective experience, but different objective experience, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. That's kind of
Yeah.
the goal, is
Yeah.
to make sure that, even if you've played through it a bunch, you're still, challenged by it, where if it's your first time playing, you're not like scared off by the difficulty because you can't progress. So yeah, so
Right.
that's cool. It's well
Right.
done, and it's
Yeah.
well done. That's not obvious too. Like like you alluded to, you can play through the whole game and not even realize that it's
Right.
doing. So
You,
really
you
well done.
you could be playing this game for over 20 years and not know that that was a thing.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess the last, I think, like kind of new mechanic or feature that I think is up top is the chapter system, which is basically what it sounds like. The game is divided into chapters and subchapters. So there's five chapters and there's subchapters within each. So one dash two, one dash three, three dash four, five dash three.
yeah.
Just
Generally
as a
broken
way,
up along like story beats.
yeah,
So yeah.
segmenting the game. And I think I think this is part of what I think when I was like the game feels arcadey to me. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I'm like, to see like hit ratio, numbers of enemies killed, number of times you died, reminds me very much of like House of the Dead, like the light gun
Yeah.
game,
Yeah, it
you
gives you your
know?
stats as you
Hmm.
finish the chapters. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like I think this game, right, I think is not it we've talked about the combat being more immersive, but the game takes you out of the game a lot more, I think, than in previous Resident Evils, which were trying to create dread and horror. This is like, here's some stats, end of chapter one. I think it's doing something different than the previous games, which is
Yeah, kind of
obvious, but
remind you that you're playing a game.
hmm
Yeah.
hmm And it's
Yeah.
weird because like I liked it in four and I hated it in five.
That's interesting too. And I was thinking about that when I was playing this. Like, why do I not like this so much? Why do I not like this in five, but I like it in four?
I
And maybe
mean,
we'll have to keep that in mind before I play five and try to figure
right.
that out.
I
Because
mean, I
I
think
thought the same thing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I found it annoying. I also just don't like five, so that's probably it.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
I'm just
Yeah.
like, ugh, I'm just,
But yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. I mean, it basically just kind of functions like an autosave,
yeah,
and a way to just differentiate the game. Like now it's nighttime, now it's raining, now it's, so yeah, it
right,
gives you the different sort of things. So yeah,
right.
I think it works. I think it works with
Yeah,
again the style of game they're playing with here. So
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I guess not a new mechanic, but a returning mechanic. One of the few is typewriters are still here. You don't need an ink ribbon though to save.
Yes, yeah. Ink ribbons are no more. So you can
Right.
just, yeah, you still have to, you can't save anywhere, but you can save either at the chapter ends or at a typewriter.
And unlike previous games, they're pretty plentiful.
They're pretty plentiful, yeah. And also if you die, like if you turn the system off, you will have to have saved at a typewriter, but if you just die, like in combat, a lot of times it'll just restart you at the same room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's a
so
pretty
so it's
forgiving.
very forgiving in terms of like checkpointing.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
I appreciate because I think we've talked on this podcast about times where that didn't happen in previous games and it was frustrating.
Yeah, for as intense as this game is, I think I would have got burned out. And as long as it is, I think I would have got burned out if the checkpointing wasn't
Oh
as
gosh.
generous as it is. So I think they made a good
Yeah.
decision there to
Yeah.
have it not be too punishing. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're really not playing more than a couple minutes of the game over again if you die. So yeah.
Right. Right. And yeah, this is an action game, so they want you to, you know, progress.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's maybe some of the dynamic difficulty too. They don't it's not the type of game where like it's challenging and there are harder modes if you really want to challenge, but it's not the type of game where you're gonna be like throwing your PS PS5 controller out the window. So yeah,
No, I don't think so. I think this
yeah,
game is very reasonable and fair in its
yeah, yeah.
difficulty. So,
Agreed.
yeah. Well, that's Resident Evil 4, the introduction.
Yeah. Now that we've talked about the game for 2 hours, I think we're finally ready to talk about the game.
I think so. I think it's
Yeah.
it's yeah, time to
We set the
start.
stage. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we've done as much scene setting as we could do, so you'll have to tune in next time to listen to us actually talk about what happens in the game.
Yes, yeah. So we've yeah, like Logan said, we're next time gonna pick up with the start of the game and we'll get into the story, the kind of beat by beat gameplay, beat by beat over the areas of the game. And it's gonna be a long one. I mean, we were talking beforehand, this will probably be 5, maybe even 6 episodes. So
Yeah.
don't hold us to
Yeah.
that, but yeah, strap in if you like long long series of Resident Evil podcasts, which if you're listening to this, hopefully you do. Otherwise, you're being held somewhere against your will and being
Right,
forced to
yeah.
listen to this,
You're
which wouldn't
in
be fun.
you're in the wrong place and maybe
Yeah.
not by choice.
Yeah.
I don't condone torture, but I would be a little honored, just a little bit, if somebody was like, "We're gonna force you to listen to this." It's like, wow, how did you find us?
Yeah. It's like the equivalent of like that was that Manuel Noriega that they were trying to like blast him out of his palace
Oh
by
yeah.
playing like annoying music. I forget
Yeah.
what it was. It was like Celine Dion or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh wow.
that could be us. Yeah, if they want to blast a dictator out of his, they'll play Hot Zombie Summer
Right.
at
They're
full
just like,
volume.
we
It'll be like, I
can't
can't take it
yeah,
anymore.
they're like, we can't listen to these people talk about just the development of the game for one episode. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
can't listen to them being confused about Bill Paxton and Bill Pullman anymore.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think I'm really excited to kind of talk through this game. Playing it again was great. I think I was more critical of it this time. This is my third time playing through,
Okay.
but I think it's still an incredible game. Certainly one of the best games of all time. Definitely up there for me, both in the series and personally
Yep.
as an all-timer. So,
Yeah. 100% agree. And I think we're gonna have a really fun time talking about why that is and what what makes this game work so well. I think we're having a really
right,
good time talking
right.
about that. So
Because I think in some ways, and not to jump the gun too much, but in some ways this game like shouldn't work. You know, the way it's set up, I'm like, it's a little surprising it, at least in my replay, that it held my attention as much as it did.
I have thoughts with that because I was thinking about that too. So that's a little teaser for you for next
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
We'll we'll be discussing yeah. Not only that it's good, but why it's good.
yeah, yeah. Well, you've been listening to
Hot
Hot
zombie
Zombie
summer.
Summer, and it probably is summer right now.
It probably is. And in the spirit of summer, go ahead and review the show, give us a like, give us a follow on social media, and listen to the show and tell your friends if you like it, if you think they'll enjoy it. So we greatly
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Also jump in the pool if you can.
Jump in the pool and enjoy the summer or the winter if you're in the southern hemisphere. So
Yeah. Or if you're in space, whatever seasons are out there.
yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. See you in 2 weeks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, that was another episode of Hot Zombie Summer, and we'll be back in a few weeks.
And in the meantime, check us out on Apple, Spotify, or wherever else you get your podcasts. And be sure to follow us on Instagram and Blue Sky at Hot Zombie Summer Pod, all one word.
So until next time, don't be a Jill sandwich.